Hello. Hi. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 20th edition of the MomentumMod questions and answers stream. How's everybody doing? My name is Nick, aka Goknak. I'm the project and development lead of MomentumMod. Back at it again with some of my lovely team members here to answer some of your burning questions that you ask us over in our Discord, !Discord, by the way, in chat. Yeah, let's go down the Discord list, introduce yourselves, and we'll get going and answer some awesome questions.
Hey, I'm Tom. I'm a web and UI dev for Momentum, among other miscellaneous things.
Oh, I guess it's my turn.
Yeah, it's you.
Oh, I guess you already introduced yourself, Gak. Well, I'm Trazox, or Alex. I'm a head of media. I do UI, graphics, a little bit of everything touching in the design department. Videos.
You've got a nice graphic of yours
designs.
coming up soon.
Yeah, true.
Oh, yes.
And that leaves me. I'm XP Man. I make maps sometimes.
Heck yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll move on to the first question that's kind of embedded in every stream here. Yeah, it's what has everybody been up to. So it's been a busy last couple of days here for us as we're wrapping up 092. So 092 is like the last kind of big changelog blog post, like version push. We actually have that version update that I gave in the, I believe, like a Q&A stream ago, where we're going to be focusing on doing a more regular push of kind of like either Monday or Friday or both if we have enough work. Kind of just depends on how much work gets in. But the idea is that every time we do push code to Steam, we're updating that last version number. And obviously we don't want to keep spamming people with blog posts on that. We might still make blog posts about them just to have like the changelog documented in multiple places so that, you know, the history of the game somewhere. But yeah, we're wrapping up. We have something really special that we're going to show off in today's stream that's tied in with 092. And it's all kind of coming to a head. So it's the changelog blog post is written. We have a lot of great kind of details in there about like, you know, 1.0, kind of like the new version changing, just kind of recapping everything that's happened over the past couple of months. And then the new stuff, as well as, yeah, we got a lot of great like changes to show off here in lobbies here. There's like, I think, networked weapons and stuff. So Slidey's been doing that. Rio's been working on verification as well as overhauling the save state system to use these underlying like save work or save load, like save restore system, but like revamped to be, you know, runtime as opposed to like reloading the map, you know? So there's a lot of great work there that's just kind of like being worked on and like sneaking in to these versions. Hence the, you know, the need for the version update. But in particular, so that's what I've been up to, right? Like I've just been kind of collecting all of this, writing the changelog, writing the blog post, kind of collecting all of the remaining dangling branches that we have. We have like 15 PRs open right now internally.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's a ton of engine cleanup happening, and those take quite a bit to review. But it's good because it's cleaning code, so it's, you know, we're getting less spaghetti, right, in this code base, which is always a good time.
Just want to add to that like I'm really pleased with this changelog. It's going to be the last we do that's not for a major milestone.
Yes.
Which the changelog will kind of detail in more detail, like the version changes. But there's a lot of other info on stuff like release dates and like for the people that want like a really like a lot of information about what's currently going on with the project. I think the blog post, is going to be really, really helpful. Also, we've been doing some nice little simpler graphics for people that just want a sort of TLDR stuff. So.
Yes. Because one of the main things around kind of this version change, as well as, yeah, we are bumping 1.0, the overall wording around 1.0 is changing to be looking at our roadmap, right? And updating our roadmap with like where we're at. Having it be a very nice and easy thing to read as the progress happens, and not, you know, digging through GitHub and understanding GitHub project boards and stuff like that. That's still going to be there and still going to be public. It's just like we need kind of like public facing, like, hey, here's what we have left. Because right now it's not very clearly defined. It's like I did the Q&A stream with the, or Q&A streams with the like slides that had like all the things that we need and want and so on. But like we needed a cleaner way to do that. So I think it was yesterday. I don't know. Time's an illusion. Yesterday, Traz, Tom, and myself, we sat down and basically came up with. Sorry, my OBS was sitting. We came up with this. So this is similar to what we had on those slides before. So this roadmap, we're going to try to feature this prominently in our new FAQ that we're going to overhaul in the Discord. We're going to try to get a more timeline, I think, version for our main website so that we can link people to just, momentummod.org/roadmap. And the idea here is that we're just going to, as we're doing these versions, kind of cross off or like, colorize or whatever, the things that we're doing and getting done. But the main thing that we wanted to emphasize here with this is that a lot of this work is either partially or fully open source. Like there's obviously the game code is closed source still because of our licensing agreement, but right, like we definitely want people to realize that they can help, right? Like that they're like, if they have web experience, if they have tenacity to learn, C Sharp or, TypeScript or anything like that, they can join in, they can help out. O10O has a lot of just open source tooling that Bird and Panzer were working on as well. So kind of answering that question at the bottom still. So Bird's been working on Lumper, which is this lump editing tool for all of the existing maps. We just need to, rip out the TF2 entities and stuff like that. So we needed a tool that just kind of modified like NSpy, but
it modifies it's upgraded NSpy.
Upgraded NSpy, so it's taking that compiled BSP, not decompiling it and recompiling it via our VSP or anything, but rather just editing the compiled BSP directly to remove the things that we don't need, change the entity types over to the momentum ones. And it's going to be an invaluable tool, and it's completely open source because it's not using any engine code. It's kind of just it's like kind of an open source like reverse engineering of like the BSP format, kind of like NSpy was.
In some cases, Bird asks us to explain a little bit about how certain loading processes go. Can't. Bird will be licensed soon, by the way, but we can't. Currently, we can't show him any like license code, obviously, any Valve code. But we can explain the whole loading process, so that helps. But all the actual programming work is done by an unlicensed dev.
Yes.
It's a really good dev, so we're licensing him.
Yes. And similarly with BSP Convert, which is a similar tool, sort of, in a way that Panzer, the mapper behind Bhop Arcane and I think Surf Utopia, and they're expressing interest as well, but working on this Quake 3 compiled BSP or compiled map, right, to source compiled map converter. So it doesn't decompile or anything. It just converts directly using the old lumps of defrag maps and, Quake 3 maps over directly to source, like our BSP format, which is amazing because there are thousands of defrag maps that we could just throw into this tool, and like 15 seconds later, it's converted into a potentially playable. It might need some tweaks, but potentially playable map.
The main thing is it conserves light map data and stuff, so it's conserved.
Because when you decompile, especially those old maps, you don't get lighting data like you do in the current. You have
to remake all the lighting. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, huge pain. So Panzer's been working on that. They're also going to be licensed soon, so they'll be working directly on the tooling there, making sure it's all good there. And then just kind of going through the versions here. I mean, we've already recapped this, right? With O10O, we need the web API rewrite. That's where it's going to land. It's fully open source. The website is fully open source, and we would love any help that we can get on.
Can I just?
Absolutely. Yeah.
A lot of what I've been doing over the last month has been doing my best to get new open source devs involved, including people that are just pretty new to programming, or that haven't worked with TypeScript or JavaScript before, that haven't maybe done much web work. I mean, all sort of different levels of ability. I've been just trying to be as friendly as possible and help get people up to speed with stuff. One thing we really care about when it comes to open source contributions is this is a project made by, people dedicating their free time. Like, if people want to help with this, we're not just aiming to get the game done, but we also want people to actually learn from this work.
Yes.
There's something that I really, really care deeply about. So like, if people are, getting involved with web stuff, they might be, like 16, 18-year-olds, like, younger, whatever. Baby programmers, but they want like
child labor. no, but it's a good point. Yeah.
But new people that are just looking to get started with this stuff. If you want to learn JavaScript web APIs, like that stuff's going to be around for a while and is very, very employable and useful to learn.
Yes.
Like a lot of what we're doing here, and a lot of stuff like a lot of momentum. We have momentum devs that have got jobs partly because of the work they've done on momentum. And what I really care about with open source stuff is just getting as many people as possible like really passionately involved with the project, but also like learning something that actually benefits them personally, not just momentum, because it's not like we're just trying to get labor out of people. Like we actually want this to be something that's mutually beneficial for everyone involved.
Yes.
And just to comment, I mean, on this whole diagram, like we have so much of this stuff is open source or partly open source. Like we have basically all of our web stuff, the front end and back end, which is a really major part of momentum. That's why we spend so much time on the web API rewrite. Is that like it's just a central part of the game that we have to get improved, and it's actually pretty close to finish now, and it's looking really nice. I'm really proud of the work there. But I mean, Panorama as well. Like our game UI, which is a really core part of our game. Like when we think about like loads of these like later features, even like long-term stuff like clans, tournaments, stuff like that, this is partly open source because the UI is open source. Like people can do the Panorama stuff. Again, there's JavaScript. And it's some of the nicest JavaScript you can write as well. So I'm sort of just trying to sell like Momentum as like a really good open source project to get involved with, and rambling a bit, but honestly, like it's fantastic.
No, it's very true. My current or my 2 jobs I've been into now, my second job, it is huge. Employers look at your contributions towards an open source project. That's huge, right? Like that is probably the main
public on GitHub. Like you do a bunch of good work here, write good tests, stuff like that. Like just have like a clearly good mentality and like organize your commits well, all that nice stuff. Like, that's going to go down really well when it comes to like job application stuff like that. So
yeah, I'm hoping that this is not really. It's like when right, localization. I mean, there's map porting coming post 0.10.02. Like like we're getting to the point where we're gonna have a lot more than just coding enabled. Right, a lot more than just coding to be able to contribute to momentum. So like it's just something that we wanted to show as like, here's what we have left, but it's not just our work, right? Like we could have help from you guys if you want to help us out and help us get to 1.0 faster. And here's where, right? So that's really what we were trying to do with this. We have spent quite a bit of time on this. So was there any other bits about this that we wanted to talk about before moving on to our first question? We've today.
Not asked everyone what everyone else has been up to, so maybe I sort of said mine. I mean, I've been just doing web API stuff. Where again, it's the super important thing. I've been just trying to. It's the first like big like sort of programming architectural project that I've sort of led myself at this point. I mean, Alex started a lot of stuff out, the Nerdman, but I've taken over in the last sort of 6 months. And there's been so much like organizational stuff and whatever getting it done. But now I'm really happy with the state it's in. So yeah, that should actually be done pretty soon. And then we're immediately going to go to our map submission because we want that for a 10.
Yes.
So that will be the process of people being able to go to the front end website, like the Momentum Mod dashboard, upload a BSP with a bunch of details like credits and like release date, stuff like that. Like when the map was actually released, if it's a port, and lots of other metadata, thumbnails, whatever. Then it goes into a review phase where like I forget exactly what order stuff goes in, but ultimately like if you look in the map selector now, we have like the beta tab, which is currently completely empty. That will get filled up with maps that have been initially reviewed by the team to make sure there's not like insane stuff in there.
But not play tested yet. Yeah, it's needs
then
testing.
Goes into the beta system, and that will then have UI either in the front end or in the game. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to do that for other people to then comment on that map, say like what they like, didn't like, and then once it goes through the whole beta system, it gets added to the game. which right now, like literally, like Nick has to upload maps himself. I think I can do it because I found the thing that we wanted to
Bug.
test. That was funny.
Yeah. Yeah, you're now
But
an admin, yeah.
yeah. But we want this all to be completely automated. Obviously, like it's insane to have the project lead like authorize every single map, right? So once this is done, it's going to be. This is all like O10, like fully into place, right? We have the map porting system improved. We have zoning finished, which means like right now, one of the reasons we don't want to add maps is everything's going to have to be rezoned because the zoning refactor is going to change the format.
Yeah.
So stuff isn't going to be backwards compatible. So what we're going to have is zones are going to be finished. The web rewrite is going to be finished. You're going to be able to submit maps on the site, and we'll have this tooling for making porting way easier. So we're going to have way more maps.
Yeah.
So but essentially my whole thing is trying to get the rewrite finished and then immediately move to map submission there because that's going to be. O10, I mean, O10 is shaping up to be sort of the biggest update we have before release for this.
Yeah.
And
yes.
Yeah, it's something we're.
Just to wrap up on that too, with map submission, we are adding literally every map that we can possibly like get. We want to add like potentially thousands of maps just to see kind of rough like cost estimation, bandwidth estimation. We want to see how the UI handles fucking thousands of maps at once. Like we want to add all of them. Now keep in mind 1.0 is not going to have thousands of maps. We're going to kind of wipe and then do like a nice select and then just be dropping regularly, like regular map drops.
Pre-approved maps. We won't have to resubmit then, right? We can have pre-approved maps.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely going to, for like the 1.0 like database and stuff, completely wipe and then kind of set up all of the all of the maps and stuff. But we will have a list of pre-approved, like, you know, just known good maps. And
testing is going to be really important because a lot of the way we're making this stuff work is by using S3 like bucket storage, which allows us to really do very, very fast downloads and scale very efficiently and not have to worry about our own infrastructure too much. But then we need to keep making sure that like the finances actually work there. And we spent a lot of time thinking about this and we think they can.
And so that's what O10.0 is going to test.
It's going to be great. Yeah. Yes. So O10.0 is good. Oh, it's going to be so good. I cannot wait for O10.
Yes.
If you're desperate for 1.0, that's fine, but you should also be desperate for O10 because that's going to be massive.
Especially mappers. We got a lot of great stuff coming that we couldn't really put on this roadmap, but it's still coming. So yeah, and in the sense of like, it's gonna be done by O10.0. Like there's some stuff that's already like in that we can't ship yet. And then there's something we're gonna show off today that we kind of hinted at. Yeah. But okay, cool. So we'll move back to questions here, which will bring us to our first question and bringing us back here. Hello, we're back. Yeah. All right. That's XB Man. That's your cue.
All right. So question number 1 coming from Screen Names. Have we considered some sort of save state system?
No. No, yeah. Yes, we have. So right now they're called save locks. They used to be called checkpoints. It's an evolution, right? So checkpoints, but then we updated zones to be able to support linear maps, and that uses the term checkpoint. So then we changed it to save lock, but then we're adding a shit ton of state into the save locks. That doesn't make sense to call them just save lock. So now they are going to be called save state. Rio, I mentioned this before in the what everyone's up to. Rio is working on basically completely overhauling the save lock system to become an actual save state system. So it's when you're in the map, you make a save state, everything in the map is saved into that, using kind of just a delta based like setup there. So this will store things like rotational entities, rockets that you fired, like all that kind of stuff. And it's really going to be interesting because right now it's just this manual process, but of just kind of like manually including everything that we wanted to in this system. But like this system by default will just kind of include entities that we like know we should have into it. So yeah, it's a much more efficient way of doing it, and it's using the same save restore system that's already coded by Valve, but just way more optimized to be real time. So
it's written by Rio and not Ralph.
That too, yeah, it is. Yeah, Rio's writing awesome code. I'm looking forward to reviewing it. It's I think approaching the last little bit here before it gets merged in. So 093 might have it. I can't make any promises though, but that's what I'm saying. It's like it's coming.
Any surfers, one nice thing is like the first thing that I saw of Rio testing it that he posted was unsurprisingly on Surfer Funhouse.
Funhouse,
So,
yep.
like,
Yeah.
If you
The rotational,
rotational whatnots, yeah. Rio
yeah,
is
you
the
have to
best.
time it.
Rio does some really cool engine work.
I don't think some surfers would even know that Funhouse has those gimmicks
Oh,
they
because-
all-
Because they're frozen.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
people just kill them as soon as
Yeah.
they launch a surfer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it'll open the door to a lot of mapping possibilities if we have consistent entity rotational state, right? So moving platforms, rotating platforms, and or like doors or whatever, right? We can have things like that with the system, right? So or expanding the system into our timer having an official like start save state, right? That you can just reset back to, and you'll know the rotation of all of your entities, especially mappers, right? You'll know the rotation of everything. So hopefully that can lead to a little more consistent but still dynamic maps. And that's like the kind of that we actually have a question that leads to dynamic maps. So we'll talk a bit more about that there. But yeah, so hopefully that answers that. Was there any other input for this question here? Cool. Thank you, Screen Names, for that question. Move on to the next.
All right, so this one comes from Chillrend. Will it be possible to play MomentumMod on Windows 7 or 8?
So I'll take this one. Windows 7 currently is on its like last breath. We patched Qt6 because we're making Hammer and Qt. That's just kind of a spoiler for 010. Hammer, yeah, like we want to be able to run Hammer on Linux, and so yeah, Qt was our choice there. But Qt6 doesn't really support Windows 7, but SL did a patch to it to support Windows 7, so I think that's like the only thing that's like straight up did not support it. However, Windows 7 is now end of life, which means that it's not getting anything other than the most critical of security updates from Microsoft, and we wouldn't want to keep extending support for that, considering that we would be effectively like supporting people being vulnerable on their PC, right? I'm not saying that you have to go Windows 10 or 11 even. You should if you like Windows, but you can also go Linux because we do have a full Linux native build. And keep in mind that Chaos Source, right, isn't trying to stay on old like frameworks and old OS support. It makes sense in terms of wide like support to
Valve,
try to reach out to that.
It was like why Valve. One of the reasons they're still on DX9 is they want
Windows XP. Yeah.
This
DX9,
is something that
yeah,
we're not
Windows.
gonna do. We're not.
Yeah.
Like Valve, Valve don't care about Source 1, right? So they don't really mind that like they keep on DX9 and stuff like that if it means that people can play on Windows XP. But we're not gonna keep maintaining DX9 in the future, DirectX 9, which is a graphics API for Windows. If people don't know, we're gonna be fully on DX11 pretty soon. We're gonna be nuking DX9.
Yeah.
Like it's not reasonable to ask developers to continue supporting really outdated software setups. Of course, if people are in situations where they can't upgrade or it costs them money, I get that. That's especially unfortunate when it comes to hardware. But when it comes to just software and operating system, like I'm not sure the situation with upgrading from Windows 7 if Microsoft still let you do it for free. But I think that Microsoft are very, very keen to get users to upgrade from 7 and to get people on latest.
Yeah, they offered it for free for everyone on 7. Yeah. There's an interesting path. I don't.
Even like Linux desktop is very, very good nowadays.
It's getting to the point where it can compete, but we'll see.
For gaming stuff, and it's pretty solid now. Obviously, we're not going to be as sort of arrogant as to say, oh yeah, just switch to Linux, but
right. But we do want you to be on latest software.
But don't stay on Windows 7. Like
yes,
it's not reasonable to ask developers to continue to support Windows 7 for any software. I mean, it's just not a reasonable ask. Especially something free and open source or free or open source.
Because yeah, we would need, keep in mind, like it's the same thing for like supporting Mac or anything right now, where it's like we would need that hardware and software like on a separate like, or emulated, or so, you know, like we aren't able to, because like I'm on Windows 10, right? I'm probably gonna go Linux once Windows 10 actually hits end of life, which is in like 2 or 3 years. Thank you, Microsoft.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, like it's just the upkeep of like we would rather be on latest because devs are going to be on latest and it's easier to debug that than to, all right, let me fish out my 5 to 10 year old laptop.
It takes a bunch of time, right?
That too, yeah. But yeah, like the main thing isn't just like we're trying to be elitist or anything. We're just trying to be modern in the sense of supporting more modern features too. Windows 10 and Windows 11 introduce a lot of DirectX features as well. So like there's like resizable bar and shit, right? Like that could be taken advantage of, right? In Chaos Source in the future. So we're going to try to like offer support for like later you know, like keeping up to date with like, you know, the improvements as well. Like there's also just like general kernel improvements. So like Windows 10 or Windows 11 has a better like scheduler or something, right? Where it's like Windows 7 is just like this fan favorite and it's like it was good and it works, so why should I update? It's just more of like, well, you know, security updates first of all, and second of all,
mentality. It really is.
It really isn't. Yeah.
I don't.
With software,
like people saying that like,
right?
Oh, 7's fine. I'm gonna just stick with it. Like,
yeah,
that was fine. That was a reasonable argument maybe 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, for Windows 8. Yeah, Windows 8 was a train wreck.
For sure.
But then 10, 10 was a return to form. So
I mean, the reality is that like Microsoft nowadays do kind of good work. I'm not a big Microsoft fan. They're a massive capitalist company. I care a lot about open source. I still do use Windows. But like,
because we have to support it. Yeah, that's fine.
I use it because I'm lazy.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
But, like,
takes a bit. Yeah.
And I don't really care that much about what operating system I use personally.
Yeah.
That being said, like it's a lot of the work Microsoft have been doing in the last like 5 years has been much more open source friendly, and like a lot of the stuff in terms of how Windows integrates with DirectX and stuff is really nice. Like the general sort of progress of Windows development has been really good, frankly. Like, so yeah.
So just in general, right now, yes, you can probably still play on Windows 7 and 8. It's not going to be a focus for Chaos Source in the future. I don't know how long we'll keep Qt6 on that like patched version that works on Windows 7. But you should really look into upgrading. I think Windows 8.1 is like probably like a pretty secure spot, but that's Windows 8. So if you're going to be going to that, might as well go to 10. You can, you know, if you're worried about tracking or whatever, there's like that like debloater or whatever that you can download and like turn off all of the Cortana shit. Like there's ways around. Like I just don't see the reason why you would stay on 7 nowadays, unless you really just don't have hardware that can support 10, in which case you should be worrying about the hardware at that point, because like my Momentum won't run that well on like a GT 400. Right, like we require, I think, like a GTX, like GTX 400 and above for DX11. Thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody.
If you want some just straightforward advice for like, upgrading Windows and stuff, is I would suggest going to Windows 11 and then immediately finding a Windows debloater script off GitHub.
Yeah,
which Microsoft are clearly happy with. They own GitHub. And that will just nuke, you know, like Cortana weather and, you know, like Bing horoscopes or whatever, like.
Telemetry stuff. Yeah, if you're worried about that.
Get that, and then install like Chocolatey or something, like a decent package manager, and then it's just like you type a couple of commands and you install like Chrome, Steam, everything you want. Like, you can honestly get onto like a new Windows from like a clean setup in like half an hour.
Yeah.
Not the. I mean, Linux is better, but whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I would say that, well, Linux is better. It's more involved, but that's why it's better, because you can kind of tune everything. Like you have control over everything. Windows is, you know, a more straightforward platform. But yeah, so
if you're lazy like me, Windows is good.
Yes, yeah. Cool. So hopefully that answers that. yeah, sorry, Windows 7 and 8, I guess, is end of life also. I think they end of lifed it like immediately after releasing it. Anyway, yeah, no, Windows, or after releasing Windows 10 maybe. But yeah, like, just try if you can to get onto 10 or 11 debloat if you don't like the telemetry stuff of that.
Definitely run a
and if you really don't like it, you can try Linux, and that's what we would recommend. Just latest Ubuntu, like, you know, kind of kernel. Like that's what we're trying to target. We're not trying to be on bleeding edge as well. Keep that in mind. We're not trying to require you to be on RTX cards or anything like that. We're trying to be relatively modern. So like last 2 versions of Windows, you know, last 2 major versions of the Linux kernel based on Ubuntu, maybe. I don't know what we're targeting there, but yeah, like we're trying to, like, you should be on that just for security and like stability's sake, right? Like active development's happening, right? Like you got to keep up with that, because otherwise your old versions, just your packages and stuff aren't, you know, your programs are going to just require you to update eventually too. So yeah. Okay. Hopefully that answers that, Chillrend. Thank you for this question. We'll move on to the next one.
We have another one from Chillrend. Will there be support for left-handed view models as in TF2, which I believe we already do for like the rocket launcher, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's 2 commands. So there's, well, no, there's not 2 commands. There's one. It's a CL underscore right hand. So that changes where, yeah, if you want it right-handed or left-handed. We also support for specifically for TF2 the rocket launcher coming out of the center. That's actually the default, the original, right? So that's the default rocket launcher, but you can change it to be right hand. You can change. We'll have, you know, our cosmetic, or kind of like our customization UI, be able to toggle that. So if you want it on the left hand, you can toggle it there. But it's right now it's in the console. It's CL underscore right hand, and then just change that to 0 if you want stuff coming out of your left side of your screen. But yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's a no-brainer. So I think we even had it already. Like it was just in the code. So
the thing is, it just doesn't. You can't change it mid-run. That's the only thing.
Yes, that is our limitation there. We want you to, not use goblin strats and and go crazy with like changing view model, changing rocket position throughout the run. So you do have to pick.
Rocket jump at the goblins, but yeah.
Oh my god. I can't comment on that, but there are like different, like if you want it on your left side or right side or center, we have those options. So you can choose and then do a run with that. So okay, cool. Thank you, Chillrend, for this question as well. We'll move on to the next.
If you could sell, or sorry, if you could, would you sell Momentum Mod? If so, for how much?
So I'll take this one. This is a Project League question. No, I think that when it comes to monetization, I think I talked about this, like, oh my god, like our first year of doing these Q&As. It was like, how would Momentum monetization work? If not, then I'll just rehash it here. So I would see a profit model that would make the most sense would be to monetize statistics access. So being able to get into the platform and play maps and, you know, still enjoy the platform, but the, you know, the leaderboards, the anti-cheat, you know, leaderboards, the kind of like seasonal rank progression, that kind of stuff. There is a way to kind of directly monetize that, that we would have like a $3 to $5 subscription per month to have like all of your runs saved in cloud buckets, all of your stats and stuff like accessible there. Like we could have it to where we have the platform like accepting everybody's stuff, but like actually like having it count or anything like that be monetized. I think that could be a good approach. I think cosmetic store, like if we were able to monetize, right, the cosmetic store could have, you know, a way to buy units or something too, just to have that avenue of people being like, I want to look cool. I don't really care about, you know, stats or like digging deep into stats where it needs all that. Like there is that monetization route, but I would never want to sell Momentum Mod like as a base price because of just the complications around, first of all of the free map, you know, like that already exists. Like you would then gatekeep like being able to access that. And then just my personal philosophy of I don't want these modes to be like gate kept at all. I feel like there should be an extremely easy way to play every single mode that we support, and there is kind of right now, right? Like you have to kind of download all these other games and go and play them, but like having one spot that just has everything and that you can learn, you can play with friends and like still, you know, have an enjoyable experience. That kind of experience, right? Like of you can still enjoy the free-to-play platform, but if you want to get more serious about it, the 3 like really low cost but still a recurring kind of revenue so that we can pay our server bills, that would be kind of the route that we would take if we are pushed against the wall in terms of monetization. But right now everything can be free. It's gonna be interesting to see how much things are actually going to cost once we release 1.0, because if there are 30,000+ people playing, I'm sure there's gonna be you know, that's like top 50 on Steam. If we hit those numbers, that would be, you know, ways to take donations and ways to kind of like push that. And if that doesn't work, we could, I don't know, because like technically, right, we aren't selling the game, we aren't selling anything in the game, we're selling access to the API, or not, sorry, access to the API. It's like features in the API that like would be otherwise locked or something. So it's like you can submit into it but can't really utilize it, or it doesn't really matter until you pay for it or something. So I haven't really thought it through, like in terms of like the cost or like what would be like kind of like locked or whatever behind that. But you don't have to worry because that's not our intention. Like our intention right now is everything for free. Because again, like if it's such a niche game and it stays niche numbers around like 5,000 concurrent, you know, after we release or something, which is what I'm expecting, that's easily doable out of pocket for me. Like that's completely fine. And like through donations that we would receive as well with 1.0, right? Like if people are really enjoying this and if we're really you know, pushing that donation button, we're going to try to put it in game so that people are aware of it too. Then we can potentially get donations to also help offset some of that server cost too.
So I do just want to add there, and this is really important, right? Is that like a lot of the way we're thinking about server costs right now, we're thinking about the finances a lot, and we're thinking about, we have several Google Docs where we're being like incredibly anal with like different hosting solutions or whatever, and we're trying to really optimize the way we do our API setup, our DB, our storage, machines anti-cheat runs on, all this different stuff. If we get to the point, and I think this is quite likely, where a lot of server costs are coming through from donations, and we hope that, you know, if we're getting like 30, you know, I don't know, like 1,000 concurrent players or whatever, or, you know, 5 concurrent, something like that. Hopefully that does translate to quite a lot of big donations. We don't want to expect donations from people, obviously, but what we would definitely like is to have the stuff we're spending on servers be very transparent, and our reasoning behind that be very transparent, so we can really say this is like something that we've researched a great deal and we feel like is the best value way we can approach this, and hopefully that will make people be more willing to donate. But our transparency and the fact that we've had a very, like, you know, cogent strategy when it comes to actually paying for server costs.
I want to publicize that Momentum cloud cost document once we finalize like our platform, so that people can see really, like can see what services we're doing. We're not doing a full AWS like stack. We're not even using AWS at all. It's ridiculous.
We're not going, like when it comes to especially cloud stuff, you can pay so much money for that stuff that like so with our setup, like I think it's we're having to balance, you know, money we spend to the amount of dev time for doing that sysadmin work. Obviously, like we don't have people that can be like on call around the globe to fix some like problem that goes wrong at some point. So, you know, we want to have some degree of like
redundancy,
you know, but ultimately, I think the setup we're going for is really logical and will pay off well. So hopefully that does mean that if we get flooded with players, hopefully that does have some loose linear correlation to the number of donations we get. And if that's the case, then I think right now we're pretty genuinely confident that will end up turning into a viable financial model. And that would be so much nicer than selling stuff. Just on the topic of cosmetics, I mean, this is really your question to answer, but I do just want to comment, like, I personally don't care about cosmetics in games, mainly because people can just pay money for it, and who the fuck cares once people are paying money for cosmetics? Like, I don't care, like, you might be really good, or you've spent like $20 on Fortnite skins. Like, that doesn't. If you spend $20 on Fortnite skins, I'm not remotely impressed by you. I don't think you look cool. I think you look like a sucker. Like,
but
so, like,
in the same regard, like letting people be able to get the thing that they want, right? That's just another avenue, and it would be financially supporting us directly. But like,
I disagree.
I think it's a more like understandable or more like ecological. No, yeah, I don't like paying for skins either. I would never do it, even if I was like
a valid financial model. That's quite good. It just then does, I think, devalue the actual cosmetic system.
Yeah, right.
And I do like the idea that our cosmetic system can be something that has no money involved. Like, people can't just pay money to get stuff immediately.
Right, they have to grind, right? They have to play the game, right? Like,
that's what we want. It was our current setup. So if that ends up being the case, that people are, like,
so like that would be a last ditch. Like, it wouldn't be the first thing monetized. Like, I know we call it a store, but it's because that's how we want you to unlock it. Like, we want you to be able to choose what you unlock, and that's, you're exchanging a currency for it. So it's store fits, but it's when it comes to like real life currency, like we would really want to just kind of do that kind of data, or like a kind of the CS:GO stats, right, approach. They ended up doing that, I think, too. To be able to kind of see deeper things on our website, because that is where all of the cost of momentum is, right? Like, I mean, there's dev time into the client, but like our actual like like financial costs are the servers. So kind of like monetizing that in some way where it's like not restricting like even access to it in general, being able to get into the platform, see what the platform has to offer, and then being like, oh, hey, like $3 a month, you could see more data. You could see your friends' times, or whatever that we do. I don't know what it would be, but that's, if we ever get to that point where we have to monetize, that would be the main thing. Cosmetics are just kind of like, I'd rather keep that as grinding, through the game for it. I like that more because like it really does devalue it if you can just buy it. But it would be a really nice way, like easy way to also financially incentivize people. So I don't know. Realistically, sorry.
What about I kind of feel like this question was kind of leaning more into intellectual property.
Yeah, that's true. Like if Microsoft or a game studio came up and they were like, we love you and your team, we want to buy you out and make this, or we want to buy the IP rights to it. I don't know, actually.
No. Go through that step by step. I mean, first off, you have the question of, okay, well, can we keep shipping existing maps? Probably not. And people are going to get angry if you do that. Because, like, okay, like, this is now a paid game that Microsoft owns, and they're shipping Surf Utopia or whatever.
Right.
Like, classic surf maps, everyone knows. That's really jank. So then you say, no, okay, we'll just make loads of our own maps or whatever. And then, by doing that, you're immediately just devaluing the whole thing, because you're losing a lot of what, like, existing people playing these modes expect. Like, they expect maps, stuff like that. Like, I just don't... I think there's just so many pitfalls there that just wouldn't really make sense. Like, I think if it was to be bought out, you'd want to then have a bunch of money plugged into some bigger version of Momentum somehow.
No, that is a good point, because if we do get bought out, they're going to want to recoup that investment somehow. So they would see a path of monetization that we probably wouldn't agree with. We would have to like see what they would want to monetize, which would probably be the store. That's just the path every fucking studio takes nowadays, other than selling the game at a ticket price or whatever.
I can't imagine ever wanting to do some buyout situation like that.
It would have to be an unfunny amount of money. Like, it would have to be like almost like hundreds of millions of dollars to where I can pad everybody on the or like everybody on the team gets like life-changing amounts of money, and then like it like has to be like like unbelievable amounts of money like for everybody on the team, because we have like we have like 30 people on the team.
Like, how does it work? Open source contributors that have done stuff like on the team. Like, there's so like and then you get this. Exactly, Microsoft, they bought us out, and now they're saying, oh yeah, you've got all that. Our lawyers will handle that. Like, so now we're taking loads of money. Microsoft lawyers are handling all the open source contributors that aren't getting any money. Like, it just becomes scummy and depressing.
Yeah, it is extremely scummy. Like, I'm not in
way
it
I can
for the
imagine
money.
that working
This is a fun hypothetical, though.
The only way I can imagine it working would be a company like Microsoft saying, "We really like the work you've done. We're going to put a bunch of money and resources into doing some similar follow-up thing."
Yeah, I could see that, where it's like,
monetizing the
yeah,
existing thing, I think is nigh on impossible.
yeah,
And would probably be just downright unpleasant and
Yeah.
disrespectful to the entire community. Is my sense.
No, that's how it is too. That's why, again, I want the platform itself to be free. I want, everything on, like, being able to play what you want whenever you want. Like, the core features, I want MomentumMod to be completely free all the time, right? So yeah, like, it's a fun hypothetical to think about, like, billions of dollars coming our way or something.
Yeah,
Elon Musk just buys MomentumMod. No,
anti-capitalist game.
but yeah, it very quickly turns into, okay, this is really messy, because money corrupts. It corrupts a lot of goals and intentions. So we do take donations, but it is purely at will. You don't get anything other than just the satisfaction of helping us out.
Why we have a model like this, where we're being completely honest about our finances and being optimizing our finances. Well, hopefully that makes people donate more, and people can be, and the people that we'll have a lot of players that are, like, nostalgic for these games in their, like, 20s, 30s or whatever, might have a decent income. Like, today's economy, like, lots of people don't have much disposable income. If we have people that are, chucking a decent amount of money towards stuff, it can quite feasibly be very sustainable in the distant future, or in the long term, like the very long term. So that's all of our energy right now should go towards trying to get everything in a state where we can be fully donation funded.
I would think that's, like, the best approach too, because if the monthly, like, report is literally just like $100 to $200, and, like, I'm able to pay and want to pay out of pocket as well, but if it starts to scale, or if there's just
not have you do that,
right? I don't want it to rely on one person either to stay up. I would love it to be fully community funded. So just getting to the point where we can actually deploy and see the costs, and then just see if donations could cover that, because we do have the team pool, but the team pool also is, like, aiming to be more of a team support pool right now, just to get people on hardware to help make the game, and, like,
maybe the pool size a bit, and we do two separate setups or something. But
like, we'll figure it out in terms of, like, because if the monthly budget's only like $100, like, we have, like, 10 months.
If we have 5K concurrent players, then getting 300-400 a month in donations, something like that, is not feasible.
But anyway, sorry.
We can go.
It's all hypothetical. So
a lot of time in voice chat going over all the cost stuff for all of this, like a lot of time.
It's all the time, because prices always change too. Like, for example, EU cloud went up a bit because of electricity costs. Anyway, like, there's a lot of discussion happening around the cost of Momentum and optimizing it, and then getting it to where we could hopefully community fund it through donations, and then just the entire platform's completely free and open and just community funded. And then the niche, like, does it stay niche? Does it grow mainstream? Where do we go from there? Will be determined at that point, I guess, because we're just going to be along for the ride until that happens, if that happens. But no, I would never actually sell the game for a ticket price, and I don't think selling, like, the idea of MomentumMod, or, like, having a Microsoft studio come in to pay us, it would have to be life-changing amounts of money for everybody that's ever contributed to, like, the project, like, for it to work. Or we would have to be hired out by Valve to make MomentumMod 2 with sex or something in it. Anyway, so that's kind of, like, the TLDR of this question, is just no, the platform itself should stay free. We might try to monetize if it gets to that point of where we need, like, a recurring, like, it's thousands of dollars a month or something unsustainable. In which case, wow, how did we get that big? And second of all, like, that's crazy numbers to talk about. That's like millions of players, which is like top 10 of Steam, right? So again, I think we'll probably hit 5K concurrent after 1.0. Like, that's what I'm kind of expecting, and that's extremely doable. So yeah. Cool. So hopefully that helps answer this. It was a good question. It's always on our mind of like just costs and like how to pay for stuff. So don't worry. We're never going to ever sell, like we're not even collecting, like only the data we collect on people playing the game is the data that's required for the game to work. Like it's replays and like your run submission, and then obviously our like web server collects like I guess your submission.
Available to us
Yeah,
but that's the data
Steam ID, right? So like we're not even trying to collect like personal information. We're trying to collect like obviously your Steam account. Like we need to identify you, but like we don't need to know your real name. Like for example, like we don't unless you change your Steam name to that
thing. We don't actually collect that.
Yeah.
So like if you put your full name on your Steam bio or whatever, Steam will tell us that, but we don't bother with it because who cares?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I forgot Steam could do that. Anyway, yeah. So there's no. Again, we're not approaching this from a money making. Otherwise, we would already be out and like be making money off of you guys if we were doing that. And they, otherwise,
Probably.
yeah.
Probably, yeah.
No. But no, we're taking our time because we want to make the most cost effective and most free platform that we can. So, yeah. All right. I guess to note there, if people are comfortable paying $100 for a private server, hopefully half of that a month going towards us would help. Anyway, okay, moving on to the next question. Thank you, Murgle, for that one.
All right. GothThePole asks, will you make the textures from TF2, CSGO, or Source a workshop add-on?
No, we can't. We
can't. Yep, we don't legally own it. It's it's actually not. It's a copyright issue. We just don't own those assets. So we can make the game mount and take from your mounted like games like folders and like store them inside of Momentum. So technically you don't need them fully installed, but you do have to have access to those games, right? Like you have to have TF2 installed, CSGO, Source, and then like our game could like mount it and like take the things that we need from it. Like that way you don't need all 40 gigabytes of TF2 or CSGO or whatever. Like you can just kind of like have the game mount that, but you have to, get those. And it's like that's the thing is we can't produce those because that's copyright infringement. So maps that pack these assets are going to have those assets stripped. Utopia is the first example of that, right? It's a TF2 textured map. So we have to strip them just because we want to stay on good terms with Valve. And making it a workshop add-on would, it's like, here's all these other games as assets for free through Steam.
What Scully said is interesting, asking if Gmod already does that. They don't, I don't think. Maybe there's some work.
There's some like...
I don't think
there's some sketchy stuff, but
yeah, there's like a sketchy Gmod looking website that you can download all the VPKs and like have it, but like again, that's copyright infringement. We can't do that.
It's straight up illegal.
Yeah. So in terms of like what I know for Valve, like they're probably a little more lenient because we're staying on Source and on Steam and everything, but we're not going to test that at all. Like we're going to be good, developers here, good relationships here, and mount the games and just like, the most extent we'll do is like, we'll try to like take from the VPKs and like maybe repack them, make them smaller, like deflate, compress all of the VTFs, etc. So like that you have a smaller like VPK in general, but it's like from your mounted, from the ones you already own. Which luckily for you, TF2 and CSGO are free, and then Source is $1 on Steam sales. So just go buy it right now if you want it. It is $1. I would recommend buying it because and then if you are a completely free or a completely new Steam account, I would also recommend buying Source because you do eventually need to spend at least $5 on Steam to be able to access our database. It's just a kind of anti spam account measure that we have in place. One of them, at least.
Valve Complete is $6 down. Yeah.
Valve Complete Pack is $6. Cop that. Honestly, tons of really great games in there if you haven't played the Half-Life series.
For like 40.
It used to be $100. It used to be $100 pack, and now it's wow, that is insane. Insane deal. Though if you already have games, I think it subtracts out the cost of those. So it might be $6 just for 2 plus. But
modern stuff is free to play anyway, right?
Yeah, there is a lot of. Oh, that's true. That's right. It used to include like TF2 and stuff, and that was like $20. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
The one thing to add to this question is that we have done previous answers on stuff like texture replacement and
Yes.
other goals we have. I don't think we should answer that now because we've done it in previous questions. You can find that if you go on our Q&A live channel and Discord, the pins there.
Yeah.
You'll see all of our previous stuff. So if you just search for like textures or whatever, you'll find
other questions where we answer. But just to kind of like sneak in here, we are aiming to allow you to not have to mount TF2 or CSGO as much as we can, because there are methods that we could use to do so that are pretty cool. We have a blog post.
All of those textures is a really interesting prospect, but
091 has a nice section. If somebody wants to link the 091 changelog, has a very nice section in it called any color as long as it's not purple and black. And yeah, so it's a really good section talking about the method that we're using for some of the missing textures. So thank you, Tom. But yeah, so hopefully that answers that. GothThePole. We will have ways to mount and kind of strip, but we're not going to distribute. We cannot do that. So yeah, cool. All right, moving on to the next.
The next one comes from Straight. They asked if there will be mods in MomentumMod.
Like source mod? No. Plugins and stuff like that. So the way that we want MomentumMod to be viewed isn't a giant sandbox for everything, because when it comes to competition, right, like competitive speedrunning, you have to have some sort of standard. Now that's not to say that we won't support as much as we can in terms of like sandbox-esque stuff of like experimentation. So like 2.0, the way that we're like working towards this, right, is we're building, first of all, the platform in the game right now for 1.0, and that's going to offer, the core modes, the, ranked leaderboards, bonus leaderboards, all of this like core platform stuff. And then as we work towards 2.0, we're adding more modes. We're also adding the campaigns that we're planning on doing so that people can have kind of more of a story driven or just their own pace kind of experience. And then after like 2.0 or like near to like 4 2.0 is what we're trying to do, is having either chaos script if that's done by then, or like vscript or whatever, to where there's like a way to kind of get sandbox like esque stuff into the game, because at that point, right, there's not much more to do than to expand out to kind of sandbox-esque. But the problem becomes, like, again, the competitive like leaderboards need to have a agreed upon standard. So like the sandbox or the mod-esque kind of stuff that you could do would just be to kind of experiment around with like potential new modes. We could integrate workshop or something for that, but not the ranked leaderboards, if that makes sense. So like the ranked leaderboards are going to be a strict like no mods, like, kind of thing. But then having that sandbox kind of experience more, it's not prioritized at all, mainly because we're building that core platform, the competitive platform, and then getting more and more towards casual, towards sandbox, towards 2.0. So like it's just not on our mind right now, and we're not really interested in source mod because you have active devs. So I'm hoping that any feature that you would want, or data exposed to Panorama or whatever, you could just ask us and we'll do it. I mean, like unless it's completely unreasonable or like cheat-esque, like make me strafe better or something. Anyway, yeah, so like that's kind of our goal there is, we're focusing on the core platform, supporting mappers, right? We want to support mappers, make mapping easier and more streamlined, and then from there stem into develop, or kind of the development side of that, of like, okay, making your own modes and stuff like that. So it is on our like roadmap, but right now no source mod. Well, I guess we're never really going to support source mod, so no source mod, but we're going to have avenues to kind of experiment around. So in that regard, mods will be supported. Cool. Any other input for Straight's question here?
I don't think so, really. I mean, it's just for a game that's in development and is not released, it's quite hard to talk about mod stuff, because a lot of the time when you start doing mod support and stuff, that's after the game's released, and source mod was made after source game started coming out, right? Like it's maybe some stuff changed in the future, but like maybe we think about further integrations down the line and different API stuff, but like right now, it's like it would be weird for us to spend that much time thinking about it, because we're not trying to make a game that's explicitly a sandbox game that's setting out to do that. So for its current state, like, it's just not really like something.
Yeah. It's yeah. We aren't trying to be the Gary's Mod of movement, right? Like we're trying to be an established, standardized platform for these modes and their speedrunning. Like, because our focus is on speedrunning. That's why we don't have combat or any multiplayer mode, right? It's all single player movement, right? Kind of focused stuff. So, right, that's already a limitation, right? We're already missing out on things like Trikz and stuff like that, technically, right? Because we're not supporting a multiplayer for focused game. So yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out from it, from when we add like kind of the mod support or the not mod support, but like the scripting and stuff. All right, moving on to the next.
All right. Alex with a heart asks, do you need a beefy PC or laptop to run the game? And Dot asks, I'm on a 6GB RAM with an AMD Athlon Silver 3050U with integrated graphics. Will I be able to run the game smoothly?
You do the first question and I'll look up that GPU.
Yeah, that APU. Well, it sounds like an APU.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Graphics,
Yeah. So, do you need a beefy PC/laptop? No. The nice thing about Source and the way that we're approaching the game is that we are speedrunning focused, right? We don't. It'd be nice to have really cool ray traced lighting, dynamic like particles that are emitting dynamic light and stuff like that. Making maps look good is. I believe I was watching somebody stream and somebody was talking about it. Making maps look good in Source is hard. It's the hardest part of mapping because in like other games you get a much better dynamic like editor that like shows you what it's gonna look like as you're making it with the real-time lighting and stuff like that. Like you get particles, you get like dynamic lighting everywhere. Whereas Source, it's like if you do a D-light, it tanks your FPS 100 like FPS every D-light that you do. There's stuff like that Source is just not in general built for. However, we can start to approach that with like implementing a clustered renderer, which like still supports these older maps but allows mappers to do things like dynamic lighting if they want to. Like we want to get to the point where we have like the best of the forward rendering pipeline of like you have like statically we still do VRAD, right? We're going to the pre-computing light map stuff trades the real-time compute of lighting, which later beefier GPUs support, for disk space, right? Because you're writing out all of that light data to the map and then you just parse it and then render it, as opposed to calculating it via your GPU, right? Like with the scene and stuff. So what we want to do is still keep that. We want to optimize VRAD to be more accurate and have better better compile times for mappers. That's the main thing right now. Using the GPUs, if they have a beefy GPU, to hopefully accelerate it significantly, right? Because it can do fucking ray tracing, right? Why not tracing rays for lights, right? To calculate bounces and then saving them out. So like that's kind of our goal for in terms of like supporting beefy like computers is supporting like the mappers that would use that to be able to create better maps. And then when it comes to like real time, like if you think about it, right, a lot of these modes you are moving quick. So things like dynamic lighting or just really fancy reflections or something like that might look great, but like if it tanks your FPS and you're not really going to see it because of all of like speed that you have and stuff, like is it really worth it? So like what we really want to focus on is just better lighting. Better lighting I think is the most noticeable like graphics improvement that you could do to an engine. We do have PBR, but like PBR plus that better lighting would be amazing.
CSM, and CSM helps with some of that.
Yes, cascaded shadow mapping, CSM.
You get unrealistically sharp shadows from that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and so there's methods that we can use, we already have, and also want to use like clustered rendering, which allows more dynamic lighting in the world. And it's just a matter of using our like BSP versioning so that older maps still work, and you don't need a beefy PC or laptop. And then this newer rendering stuff could be toggled if people don't really care about like dynamic lighting, because we'll still require VRAD to be run for maps, right? Like we're not ever going fully global illumination. That would be ridiculous. It would save a lot of disk space, but it would require, a RTX card or something. So we're not going to do that. But we are going to try to utilize beefier hardware for either like loading the map more you know, quickly or something because you have an SSD, you know, like it's just kind of that trade-off of like we'll use the hardware you give us, but we're never going to gatekeep it to like, oh yeah, we require DX12, right? Like we're going DX11, but like, oh, we need like, you know, the latest and greatest. We want to try to use the latest and greatest to optimize like tooling and mapping that way. Yeah, because again, we aren't a AAA. We're not trying to deliver on par with fucking Battlefields and like, you know, Call of Duties and stuff like that. We're just trying to optimize like the map creation process while making it easier to make good looking maps in Source still. Source 2's Hammer, I think, has real time lighting and preview there, so that helps with the iteration. It also just has a lot of really cool tools that you can do because it's mesh based. But there's like the fine line there of like, yeah, we are a speedrunning game. So us personally, I don't know how P2C or other Chaos Source games, if they join, would feel about it, but like we really don't care about having the like nicest looking, like beautiful maps if it's like 50, 60 FPS for most people, because that's terrible. Like, have you tried surfing at that low of a frame rate? It's awful. It's doable, but it's awful compared to 300 plus, right? Like, oh man, it's so crisp. But anyway, so in terms of the 6 gigabytes of RAM, good. Yes, 8 gigabytes to 16 gigabytes. We're not going to be storing so much in RAM. We do have something that we're going to show off today that might use a bit of RAM, but but we're not thinking that we're going to be using gigabytes of RAM. I think the game currently uses 200 to a gigabyte, depending on what maps you're loading and stuff like that. So 6 should be fine. And then the AMD Athlon Silver.
I think it's going to support DX11. It's just going to be slow. Like,
okay.
It's not,
is it what year is it? What year did it come out?
I don't know what year it is. I was just looking at like comparison.
Athlon is a different one. Oh, we know Athlon might be.
It's like it's a decent amount slower than like 8's Gen i3s, stuff like that. My laptop's running something I think pretty similar to this chip.
Okay.
Which I have tried Momentum on before and got like 30 FPS.
30 FPS, gotcha.
It's not gonna. Okay. It will run. It's just not gonna run well, right? Like
smoothly
support it. It's just like the question is ultimately like how many frames is like an integrated GPU like that going to be able to put out? Usually not that much. It's gonna.
Depends on resolution. What resolution were you running at too?
Yeah, you might well find it running at a low res and then
windowed 720p might work better than full screen 1080.
Yeah, that's a good shout. What was the other thing I was gonna say? I've forgotten. I've forgotten.
It's all good. The main thing about this though is that we aren't trying to target latest gen hardware or anything like that. I have a RTX 20 series. I'll probably upgrade when GPUs are back to normalcy. So we'll be supporting the RTX 20 series cards for a while. We'll see how GPU prices go. But we aren't trying to target latest and greatest. We're trying to optimize the support for beefiness for mappers more than anyone. So that map creation is like, yeah, you can see real-time lighting. You can have that like preview of the map, and it uses your beefier stuff to render out the map. But then when it comes to playing it, it's just a matter of having I guess, I don't know, an APU might not have a lot of VRAM, and VRAM might be the thing that's like causing it to lag. So try like smaller resolutions and stuff if you want to try. We do need to optimize a bit of the game. We still do the blurring, I think, everywhere in the game right now. The blurring and then the frame buffer being rendered twice in game. So there's stuff like that we do have to kind of figure out and optimize, but there's right, like we're gonna try to support lower end hardware as much as realistically possible. It would be good to have kind of like a low end build and like force devs to use that, but we're not a full studio. I can't do that. People would quit if I made them do that.
I could put on my laptop.
But like throwing the game on a laptop from 5 years ago and playing it and just seeing how it runs, like latest release, that would be really good to do. We are performance oriented, right? Like we want high FPS, like we want that. So while we are exploring things like clustered rendering and supporting RTX, right, ray tracing for VRAD or something like that. We're going to just focus it on like experimental or just seeing how it runs, and then going from there. Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about yeah, the like modern gaming like requirement of like an RTX like 900 or above. Or anything like that. We're gonna definitely try to support the bare minimum of DX11 because of the tooling. The tooling for DX11 is very nice, and the support there, right? We've answered that before in another Q&A.
DX9 is insane. Staying on DX9 is just
right. It's not realistic. It's
horrible.
from 2002. DX11 is from 2008, so that's already starting to run out. But again, like we're getting up to DX11, getting up to the point where we can have an abstract rendering code to support like Source 2, the render system of like multiple backends. So we get to support Vulkan down the line and have a native Vulkan renderer, and then that supports, that's going forward, probably our path after DX11 if we end up doing that. But yeah. So
the thing I just wanted to add at the right end. One thing we have been discussing a little bit in the dev server and a couple of other places is like obviously like like TF2 has like master config or whatever it is, like
yes.
this config like aimed for getting like really high frames out. We would like to improve some of the stuff that's in the graphics options.
Yes.
With, like auto settings. So like having some stuff like parallax in the PBR shader. Not many maps are using that, but can be quite slow. So having that be either
toggleable
shader options, or in like if you're on low, it's gonna do only the like 16 or whatever parallax steps, which looks horrible, but
right. Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff that it would be nice to experiment around with a bit more. If there are people that like have done like graphics optimization configs and stuff and want to give us a shout, like what stuff they use in other Source games and actually has the biggest impact, we can look at
why it causes that big impact and then try to
but also just like potentially having it in the settings menu, having it just way to figure that like we can. If people want to write like configs or whatever for getting high frames, that would be really useful. But obviously, we don't want end users to have to mess with that. Like,
right, to import a config or like whatever. Yeah,
having integrated stuff in settings would be way better.
Yeah.
So if it turns out that like, oh, this thing like really affects frames, we can tie this at like the shader detail level.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are fine with their game looking like absolute fucking shite. Like with just zero lighting pretty much at like blocky nonsense, like a lot of like, TF2 players, like pro TF2 players will play with. If we could get a like I've always liked the idea of having like we have like low, medium, high, whatever in the graphics options. I'd like I don't know, just like a shit
tier right above low. Yeah.
Yeah. For like the really
not actually called shit, but you know what we mean. Like just kind of like we're on like potato. I think is like the actual term we'll use.
That was it. We use
potato. And so just like
really nice to have.
So or competitive, potato / competitive. I don't know, it's like, but having that kind of like minimalist, and you'll have a shittier looking game, but it's like the most frames on the lowest tier hardware would be our focus for that mode, and like that would help. Not a lot of games, right? I don't even think like AAA even tests anything below high, honestly. Like I've seen like games on like low don't look great. So I don't know. It's up to you. It'll definitely be like you'll have to experiment around, but you should be able to play smoothly. It's going to be up to you. And we'll have, as Tom was saying, we'll have more options in the video settings for you to be able to turn on potato mode to play on lower end hardware. But you should not require a beefy, just kind of midline. Like I think we recommend like a 1060 or like 2050 or something for like the like recommended, right? Like you'll have a good time, like 300 FPS. Anything above that is overkill. And if you're a mapper, we're going to try to take advantage of that overkill hardware to help, your mapping processes. But other than that, it's going to be like, it'll be interesting to see what we can toggle on and off. If there are kind of the really cool looking like features that we could have be optional, right? Like the dynamic lighting or something that's like requires a little bit of a beefier setup, but like could be toggled. That could be good. We'll see. But thank you, Alex and Dot, for these questions. Was there any other input for these two? All right, cool. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next pair of questions here.
All right. So the next one comes from June exclamation mark. Will you guys ever have custom view models, and will we be able to make our own? And Salt says, adding on to this, will we use a system that's like the TF2's custom folder?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, I'll answer this one. So the custom view models, absolutely. We support being able to override your local files as much as you want. Like, you can customize everything. The only caveat with this is that it only shows up for you. So if you're customizing the player model or view models or anything like that, it will only show up for you. We'll never take that away. We'll never ever try to lock that or encrypt our files or some shit. Like, we don't care about that. Our view models and our cosmetics and stuff are incentivized because they show up in replays and in lobbies for other players. So that's kind of like where we're drawing the line of like, yeah, like you could technically, like these like view models and stuff exist locally. So you could extract the model and point to it and stuff and then have like your local version have that. But like in your replays on your player like profile and stuff like that, it won't show up because you didn't unlock it. So that's like where we're kind of like drawing the line is like we want you to be able to completely customize locally, go hog wild, right? But we want to have our official models and stuff be the ones that are networked and shown to others. You will absolutely be able to make your own. Absolutely. We want to try to document that if that's possible too, and have that in our docs page. That would be amazing because that could lead to more cosmetics being made for the game and then in the store and like people playing and using it right in their runs and stuff. So like absolutely. And then a system like TF2's custom folder we actually support already. So you just create folders in custom and then yeah, just drag and drop your stuff. Drag and drop VPKs in there as well. We mount those. I think there's a performance issue card with that, that the scanning for that takes forever. So we're going to look into that. But yeah, absolutely. The custom folder would be supported. All of the official cosmetics are shipping with the game, so you don't have to worry about that. You just change the script or something to point to it. But again, like we want, you know, the streamlined stuff, the nice and easy to use to be the cosmetics in the cosmetic store, right? And then the custom stuff is just, yeah, you got to get into the weeds of like setting it up and obviously we'll have documentation to help you do that and make stuff, but yeah, we're not anticipating people to be like, oh, I want like the TF2 rocket launcher, I gotta go and edit everything. It's it should be like built into like our like loadout kind of like UI that we're gonna have for each mode so that you can customize all of the aspects, right? You can have custom cosmetics per mode and stuff like that. We have a lot of great stuff planned for the cosmetic system. So again, we want you to be as expressive as you want to be, you know, either locally, if you want to do that, or through the cosmetic system and our profile kind of system there. Cool. Was there any input for June and Sol's question here?
Nah, this is super simple.
Yeah, super straightforward. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing like all of the custom stuff and if modelers and animators and stuff want to get those in game. Because again, there's like, we don't, I mean, we're not, we could try to commission people, but we're not like, we can't offer you the TF2 deal of like, yeah, everyone that buys it or whatever, you get a cut. Like it would just be in the game, right? Like you could have, we could give you like, we could give like cosmetics in response to like people making stuff or like a badge or something on your profile, like to show that you're like a modeler and stuff like that. So we'll figure out like a sort of incentive that we could give in response, but like it'd be really cool to see just like all the custom stuff.
Is like quite easy in lots of ways.
Yeah, Blender.
I'll probably make a cosmetic for Momentum. Like I
Yeah.
have some experience with Blender, not a ton. Well, we will be doing a new Blender stream coming soon.
Oh yes, yeah.
Are we?
I'd love to. Yeah.
Redoing the Christmas one is the plan.
The Christmas background that we had.
Now. It's
Yeah.
official.
Okay.
We're gonna do.
Oh, I completely forgot. It's automatic. So we can update that WebM because the old one will show up automatically. I think we have that time of day in Panorama, don't we? I forget.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Query your system time and.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, we'll be stay tuned for that if you guys want to join in on that. Okay. Cool. We'll move on. Thank you, June and Salt. Moving on to the next one.
All right, next one comes from Redz, who asks, which version / update do you guys plan on adding the cosmetic system? How will it work?
So great question. Great question. It was 12. So that was the roadmap that we just showed at the beginning. O12 is where the cosmetic kind of like underlying XP, like leading to a cosmetic currency system, will be implemented. Actual cosmetics and like hooking it up will be done kind of in free time. That's more just like dev effort work there of like, if devs have the free time to work on, if we get the mock-ups for the UI that we need for the loadouts and stuff like that, like that's all there. It won't hold back 1.0. I should emphasize that. Like adding cosmetics is not absolutely necessary for 1.0 to launch. We just need the system, right? The core, like, oh, you got the currency, you can spend a currency to get a cosmetic, an amount of currency to get a cosmetic, and then you can, go from there. Like we can add the cosmetics later and like post 1.0 if we really are, like we really don't want to work on it, but we'll see how dev effort works.
I just told you, chat, Tom.
Trikz, the last Christmas thing you did genuine. It was you, right? You made a
How
snowman.
many subdivisions you need for
Oh,
a sphere? Okay.
So it's
fine.
It was a very high poly
it's a high
snowman.
poly model.
I was where are all this polys in this scene coming from? And then it's
How many
like
polys were
a
there?
snowman that's
It's like-
literally made out of
Was it
spheres.
8,000 or something per sphere or something? I don't know. It was
No,
crazy.
it was way more. It was
Oh, a million.
so big.
That's right. Sorry, we're reminiscing about last year's Christmas or holiday stream that we did, where we were modeling, and we want to do that again this year, and kind of like revamp or add things to the background. So it'll be fun. Stay tuned for that. But how will it work? How will the cosmetic system work? So the way that we want to cater, so there's again the two sides of the game, right? There's the ranked and leaderboards and like how good you are at momentum. Right, we have that side, right? Rank points, you get it based on your rank compared to other players. It's just based on your time that you set for that leaderboard. And we'll have like ranked divisions. So like if you have, like we'll set up like groups and stuff, or like how many like rank points you have, and we'll give you like a little trophy and things for that. When we do seasonal things, we'll have like seasonal trophies and stuff too. And then there's the playing the game side, right? There's people that really don't care about setting crazy top 10s or whatever, right? Like there's people that just want to play complete maps, learn the modes, get better, and doing that, right? Just playing the game, even while you're grinding for the top 10s and stuff, you will get this cosmetic, we're calling it cosmetic XP. You're getting XP, right? You're getting experience as you're playing the game, completing maps. Completing new maps is actually the best way, right? Playing all of the maps. New maps in the sense of like you haven't beaten it before. So completing a map that you've never played. Things like that, just kind of playing the game. You get XP, and this translates 1-to-1 to a currency that we're just calling units, which is our channel points logo. So you will get units in coordination or in like at the same time as XP. So like you gain that. And then as you accumulate that, we have the cosmetic store. We don't like loot boxes. We might do a loot box as an April Fool's joke or something, but it won't cost like units. It'll be funny. And what we're gonna do is the store is just this, like in your inventory or like the kind of like loadout section, you can go to a store and get new stuff. So the new like stuff that you want to work towards, or the reason why we're doing a store rather, is that we want you to find things that you want to get, right? Like we don't want you to have to be locked behind a random drop. That was also really annoying. I hate that. Loot boxes suck, right? We're not doing that. It's a store and you have a price that won't change unless we do, I don't know if we're going to do sales. It doesn't matter. Like it'll devalue things if we do sales. But you'll see a price and you'll be like, oh, this is how many units I have. This is like how many I get for doing things. And you can work towards like unlocking these really cool cosmetics and stuff. So it's really just going to be a straightforward, like built all through the game. You cannot buy units with real, actual, tangible currency. We're not doing that. We can't sell those. And we just had the question asking about that. So yeah, we want you to just earn all of this through playing the game. So the people with the coolest cosmetics have played a lot of momentum, right? Have beaten a lot of maps, have, played the game for a while. We really want to reward that like completionist side of people as well. So that's really what it's going to lean on. And there are people that care about ranks and not about cosmetics, and that's fine. It's all optional, right? You'll just be accruing units and XP, and that's just going to be off to the side, buried underneath the challenges, or like your profile page or whatever. But you're caring about, oh, I'm group 1, for the majority of maps or something, so I get this platinum or iridescent trophy or something, right? Like we'll have catering to both of those sides. And realistically, right, like the pipeline for people, the pipeline for people getting into it is playing the maps, getting used to it, getting better, right? And then you start looking at the rank side of things as you start to place into groups and things like that, right? So you'll get like all these cool cosmetics, and then you can go and show them off in your group times that you're setting and stuff like that. So that's realistically, right, the pipeline, right, that we want to do. But we have to have this system, because if we're only focusing on the leaderboards, right, it won't be fun. People will not want to keep playing it if they're like, wow, I'm ranked 10,000 and I have to play this for like 200,000 hours to get up to the point of like like group times. It just won't be a good time. So offering this kind of like extra systems, challenges, right? Like things like that offer this XP, that offer this currency. We really want to be able to support just like every player that would potentially play or find MomentumMod to play, and just kind of gear them right. Like the end goal would be the most competition, right? Because we want to have as many people competing on maps as possible. So hopefully that pipeline works. We'll see if people feel if people are playing it, feeling really nice and competitive. Again, we're not putting it in their face. If they're placing like rank 10,000 on a bunch of maps, we're not going to be like, hey, go for group 5, which is 10,000 ranks above it, like we're not going to be doing that. Like if you're placing low, like we won't even bother showing you really like your rank points or anything like that. Even if you are getting some, we're going to be focusing more on the cosmetic side until you start getting better and better, and then we'll start like the end of run could like start to show you like, oh, like the next group.
We can still show the groups and the trophies, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're not hiding those. It's in the sense of like general UX of like when you complete a map, right? Like we'll probably have that, but it's like it's more emphasized for like you're gaining a ton of XP and units that way, right? And then going into like, okay, now you're gaining less and less units because you're grinding the map, but rank points, you're going up in your PBs. So that's kind of like how I view it. And I'm hoping that this like, I guess like I'm hoping that this view is shared with people, like in the sense of like they're okay with this, like, right? Because I know there's a lot of diehard surfers or whatever that like really just care about the leaderboards and the database and whatever, and it's like that's nice, but you like the platform needs to be able to support everybody, otherwise you're gonna run out of competition and like people are gonna be burnt out, and you have to have like a pipeline to get people like playing into all of the maps, eventually getting better, rewarding them getting better, and then getting to the point where your improvement is what your like goal is. It's not getting XP and units, it's getting a top 10 or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of the methodology behind the two systems, and why the cosmetic system, while our roadmap mentions rank points and cosmetic or XP, right, system, we want both for the launch, and then the actual cosmetics will just be added over time, right? Like as we just make them and integrate them, and then as people donate them potentially too, if there are modelers and animators and stuff, and that want to make just one-off things, and or make things that are inspired by other games and have it in the game for them to show off in their replays and stuff. Maybe we can set it up to where if you design a cosmetic, you get that cosmetic automatically if it gets into the game or something. So yeah, we'll figure it out. The best system to actually collect cosmetics, but we do want high quality stuff. Like we're not going to be like accepting random like Gmod like models or whatever, right? We do want things that are applicable towards Momentum that can fit the game. So sorry, I was kind of rambling, but it is important to explain that, because again, a lot of people hear cosmetic or XP and they're like, why? This is like a speedrunning game. It doesn't matter. All that matters is the leaderboard and like rank points. And it's like, even rank points technically don't matter, right? Like just the leaderboard should matter. And it's like, yeah, we're gonna have that, right? Like we're gonna have that, but we need this other part too, because it's the most effective way to get people to care about the game long term, I guess, or just over time. But yeah. Okay. Any other input for Red's question here? I know I kind of covered all bases.
System is currently being absolutely nuked by Docker, going completely crazy.
Docker, let's go.
It's just made 128 gigs of volumes.
What the fuck?
Oh, Jesus.
It filled up my entire SSD.
That's not good.
I had 2 megabytes of space.
That's yeah. You should clear those out ASAP because SSDs don't like being full. If I recall correctly, I don't know if that's like the old ones. But...
I'm pruning fucking everything.
But was there any input for Red's question here?
No, I think you explained it really well though.
Okay. All good. Thank you, Redz, for this question. Let's move on to the next one here.
The next one from Enderian. I don't know if this is the full wording of the question on this slide. It's how long how long does the dev team plan to support MomentumMod? Like, is there an idea? I'd hate to see this happen.
I'd hate to see ideas happen as well.
Time that I did the slides instead of God. I fucked up. Sorry,
it's all good.
And it was the question goes: is there any idea when updates will end, or will it just be bug fixes?
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So until 2.0 is my support. Like I want to get us to a campaign, a fully fledged campaign, with story and everything, for all of the supported modes where, realistically possible. And past that, yeah, I don't see much other than just like adding the kind of sandbox stuff I talked about before, where people can kind of experiment with new modes or like creating sub modes and stuff like that, and then adding those. But other than that, right, like after 2.0 for Momentum, it's really just kind of like on life support there of like, yeah, like bug fixes and stuff, maybe adding the new modes that get added or get created, right? And then of course new maps and stuff, right? Like when it comes to supporting MomentumMod, it depends on what you mean by like what should be supported, right? So like maps and stuff, absolutely all the time, right? Like we want to always support that. And then the game itself, right, gets to a point where it would have to either evolve, right? Like there would have to be like a kind of like game like changing thing that happens that isn't a new mode. Like just a complete like 400 IQ 10 head like way to visualize like leaderboards or something would have to happen to where it requires this like overhaul or like next version past 2.0. But no, I would say that like 2.0 is kind of our like going gold. This is what this is what we're like happy with. And then we are a live service game, but in the sense of like we're just adding maps, it's a leaderboards and stuff like that. Like it's we're maintaining that. And just going from there, we can start to dig into, maybe feature cards that we closed and dismissed earlier in the game development cycle and just see if it maybe fits then. It really just depends on where everybody is in their life. I'm hoping that MomentumMod leads to pretty much everyone on the team finding a job if they want one in games industry, to where it's like we're still, a team, but it's like people get recognition out of the work that they put in. And, and that could lead to people either leaving the team because of conflict of interest or, whatever happens with their new jobs or something, or just people not really being able to do too much development, which makes sense to kind of go more into a life support mode then. But it's way in the future in my eyes. Like it is post 2.0. Like, so I would say that like let's get to 1.0 first. That's our main focus right now. Well, 0.10 is actually our main focus, but like 1.0 is our product milestone, right, version that we're focusing on. Then past that, we start to plan out the roadmap of 1.0 to 2.0, and then 2.0 deliver 2.0. It will be our focus then, but that's so bonkers to think about right now, because who knows what's going to happen in the next like 3 years or whatever it'll take to get to that point. So yeah, for 2.0, 1.0 should be
any of it. It just seems like a waste of time. Like by this point, stuff will have probably changed in significant ways that we can't anticipate. So.
Yeah, it's really hard to predict the future or worry about the future. So I would just say, enjoy the game and the support, and just like keep supporting us, getting more people in so that it comes out faster, so that more people hear about it. Like it's not going down or anything anytime soon. I want this to be part of my like legacy as a human being. I know that sounds really egotistical, but like I genuinely like this project and team,
be a big
and
memento man on your tombstone.
exactly, just the Michelin will come with sledgehammers and bash it down. Yeah, no, like we'll we'll see. We'll see, but like I definitely love like this project, and just it's a huge part of my life, and it's not going anywhere, and I'm not burnt out or anything from it. Like I genuinely want to see it and play it, or see it out, play it, see how it evolves over time. In terms of like me stepping down, which is like to think about right now is insane, but like me stepping down or like going into more of support mode or something, probably around after 2.0. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I'm seeing this this through, right? I'm in it to win it. No, I'm in it to play it. So blog post also goes over that. So stay tuned. Very, very soon. Should be either tonight or tomorrow. So all right. Any input on Enderian's question here? Or Enderian. I'm not sure if we fucked up your name. Sorry about that. Thank you. We fucked up your question and your name. Thank you. We'll move on. We'll move on to the next question here.
Next question comes from Resistance is Futile. Will text within maps be localized? That would probably be pretty hard.
No.
It's stored in so many ways.
Generic strings, but yeah, we're not gonna let people like localize stuff on our PO editor or anything.
Because there's like HUD say text or whatever entity, and then there's also just some people just use materials and overlays.
Yeah.
And it's like we can't do anything about that.
Right. Yeah. Like the trigger test map uses an atlas, like a material that has the text in the material. So it's like it's not even like written, it's written in like substance or whatever created the material, and then like put into a VTF. So we would have to localize all of the VTF. So it just gets really messy. And then yeah, the platform and support for that is like, yeah, it's crazy. I would say that like if maps could ship with localized strings, maybe, I don't know. It just gets weird because like then people think that we localized it, and they'll report localization bugs to us, and it's like, oh, it's a map string. Yeah, so realistically, we might have the requirement if text is in the map to be in English, unless it's like names or like a credits list or something like that. We'll have some exceptions, but like ideally it's just like should be in English if it's important, like if people should read it, mainly just because like English is probably the most dominant language here. A lot of these game modes only have English in them, but when it comes to like our game and our platform, right, we're localizing the game and UI, and like our website doesn't really need it because Google Chrome has like the translate built in, but yeah, like we're trying to localize our platform so that people are aware and getting around the platform, but then the maps themselves we're not really in charge of the localization for.
I think we might localize the website. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how easy it is to do, because it's just token lookup, and then if we ship the strings with it, should be. I mean, it's doable. It's absolutely doable. There's libraries and stuff for it too, so we'll look into it. But for maps, yeah, like it's just really hard. It's really hard to enforce it, because then do we delay a map because we're waiting on the Thai localization to get done for it? Like, you know what I mean? Like where it's like, how do we, like, we don't want to like hold up like content like that. And at the same time, like we want it to be enjoyed by everybody. So like if it is in a language that not a lot of people know, like do we try to work with the mapper to get it localized into just English and just go from there? I don't know yet. But it is an interesting question, because yeah, we are a global platform, right? We're gonna probably be getting a lot of mappers that don't really speak English, maybe, I don't know. And it's an interesting idea. So it's just really a matter of working with the mappers as we get them through review to see what is the best approach to take. If it's really important text like bounce setups talked about in chat right now, yeah, we would probably want that to be in the most accessible language, so we'd probably translate those to English or something, just for shipping the map. And then we could try to support like maybe the the HUD text, right, that's like showing up on screen, having maps be able to pack localized languages, and then if it supports that language, we could try to add the localization. I don't know actually how the localization in engine works in terms of adding dynamic files and removing or whatever. So we'll see how that works.
That's so hard to refactor with it, I think. We
might have to refactor, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So pretty much to go back to this, the text within maps, they won't be localized by our platform. They might be inherently localized by the mapper, just in another language. We'll work with, on a map per map basis on like what, is localized already, like into another language, getting it maybe over into English, figuring out that. We could look into our localization system to support, like if the mapper themselves want to do that translation work, maybe we could look into doing that. But it starts to blur the line of is it our localization work that we did? I don't know. Because like updating a map just for its localization is like really dumb if you think about it. Like we don't want to we don't want to have to do that. So yeah. So hopefully that answers that. But yeah, thank you for this question, Resistance. We'll move on to the next one here.
All right, next one is from NotEagle. They're asking, are procedurally generated maps possible / planned in Momentum mod? And if so, are leaderboards for such maps, or how are leaderboards for such maps going to work if each run is unique?
A tricky one, but no.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to be on leaderboard, because at that point they're just generating like arbitrary leaderboards for like, if we were to do anything that's going to have a leaderboard, I think needs human review, right?
Yeah.
And this seems to sort of imply that that's not the case. Because I don't know how you...
Yeah.
If you want to do maps, I mean, I think House did some cool stuff with this, right? Like, if you want to do some maps using, like, PyVMF and whatnot to generate some stuff, that's cool.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna then we wouldn't do a leaderboard that is like we wouldn't have a map be like immediately have a leaderboard created for some map or something. Like that would still need to go through a review process. So it's, I mean, that sounds like a technique for making a map potentially, but like,
yes,
a very useful one. I don't know. Again, House Gamer did a really interesting, I think it was House, right? Did a cool YouTube video on a surf map using PyVMF and some stuff. That was really interesting.
Was it Surf Dragon? Am I thinking of the right map?
I don't remember what it was called.
Surf Dragon had a bonus that was like procedurally generated like curves, and it takes like 8 minutes to fucking do it. Yeah.
The more recent one is Surf Not So Generated.
Not So Generated.
He used PyVMF to just randomly place ramps.
Gotcha.
There's a really cool YouTube video on that. But I mean, ultimately, like, we still want a human to review it, and ideally a human to submit it. I mean, like,
right.
So, like, and procedure generated, like, you can't make a map that like generates as you play it, right? Because of source, like source.
Yeah, BSP format.
The source like loads a BSP into memory during map load, which is a compiled map format that like you can't. I guess
the viz data alone would be catastrophic. Like your map would just have have no viz data, and lighting. We'd have to have real time lighting for it to like properly light. Because again, you're doing a lot of stuff at compile time for the map, which cancels this. Yeah, so there was a couple of great points there about procedural generation for like making a map would be really cool. Like AI stable diffusion, right? That kind of like, leaning into that, like AI assisted mapping could be something that we look into for Hammer. That would be really cool, right? To be like, I want like a ramp that's like 500 units long going 45 angles or 45 degrees down, and it just creates one or something. Like that would be so cool, right? To have something that handles that. That's going to be its own experience. It's not ever pre 1.0 at all. Like that's not even going to be looked at, but that would be really cool to have just like AI assisted tooling for texture creation, for, like procedurally generating like geometry and stuff that you can then tweak as a human and make a great map out of, right? Just quicker, right? Or quicker iteration, right? So that's really cool. I'm interested personally in that. the map itself randomly generating, as Tom was saying, isn't possible. Not with our leaderboards. There was the idea floated in chat about an infinite runner map, where it's like you just go for the longest, and then you have the leaderboard just be like an inverse of like whoever spent the longest time lasted the longest. I'm not sure about that.
Kind of funny.
It's funny. It'd be a fun April Fool's joke, but I don't think it'd be like an actual
You could
thing.
use portals to make it quite neat as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean,
And then you just have a trigger and just math counters, and then just maybe
If you
some
wanna,
random.
whack a portal like between the start and end of like surf.
Yeah,
What do we call it? What's one of the distance, something like that.
yeah,
Hook up like a collectible system to count, or some counter just for.
yeah. Some math counter.
If someone wants to do that, I mean, go for it. I don't think
Yeah.
we're not going to do separate leaderboard code for like that inverse like time.
Right. Yeah.
That's a ton of web work.
Yeah. But this is the kind of stuff that like post 2.0 like we'd be looking at as like what could we do that like adds a unique thing to the game post 2.0, right? But yeah, in terms of competitive leaderboards, speedrunners hate RNG. Speaking from a couple years of experience, yeah, RNG sucks. So Momentum's goal is to get rid of it. So procedural generation is literally random generation, right? So random number generation. So yeah, no, we're not gonna No Man's Sky Momentum mod. But it would be interesting to see AI assisted tooling and then maybe an infinite runner system where it's like, what would a map like that look like?
Someone in chat talked about having randomized like stage teleports, which has it's kind of already been done. There was a map called I think Surf Delusion that would randomize the stage order.
Oh, what?
Whenever you loaded it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that's something that
bad.
It's really old surf, but there's like something like that wouldn't be that hard to support within our zone system. But again, that's not generating like the actual surf. That's just pre-made surf that's like organized differently depending on how you go at it.
And then how do you effectively compare? Like, how would you, like, if you were comparing against another run, how would you on that map compare effectively against? You would have to map the stages to each other to like be able to compare timings and stuff. Because if we just have it as is, where it's like, oh, like you hit the next stage zone, that's your stage 2, like, and we save that in the replay, like we would have to have some other identifier to support that. It would be possible, but it's just annoying as fuck, because then you have to like compare against world record or whatever, and then it would have to like retranslate it to the like, and then every run that you do, it would have to retranslate it. So it's like, it's this weird like mapping that we'd have to do every run that you're doing if you're doing a comparison, and then the replay itself, right? We'd have to like stitch it, right, to be able to like play it back, or
instead of posting the comparisons, you just give them some question marks like Mario Kart 64.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we could just troll people with it. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept because it keeps it fresh and it keeps it on your toes, and it feels like something that we'd probably, because like our campaign's gonna have elements like that where it's like there are different routes that you could take depending on what you do in the campaign, but it's not procedurally generated. It's not completely randomized. It's consistent. You'll know where things are, but it's up to you in your speedrun that you're doing of the campaign to do those things to get that better route or an easier route or something. So I don't know. It's just hard to view it as like competitive when it's like it's just not consistent, right? Like how can you compete on like unless it becomes endurance, right? An endurance thing. You did this for however long, right? Like because it's random and like you have the skill to handle that randomness, or the endurance, right? So I don't think we'll really support that like randomized thing either. Just in the sense of like the. Like, is it on servers? Like, what do servers do for that? I guess there's server times, and that's all people have because servers are great. But
there's configs, I think, that disable the entire randomization thing.
Gotcha.
But I think some timers just like don't do checkpoints or something like that.
Yeah, because you could do start and end, and then it's just like you just watch the run, and you can see their stages and stuff. But like there's no like what becomes stage 1 if like you play that map, right? Like what becomes that like the first stage you enter.
The first stage and the last stage were always consistent.
Consistent, gotcha. And then okay, so stage 2 is where it would randomize. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Like this is stuff that we'll be considering with the zone refactor, but it's just like from a competitive standpoint, it just doesn't make a lot of sense because it's like while they're still playing the same map and doing the same thing, but in a different order, it's like you would have to then support that different order every time. And then what consistently gets known as stage 2, right? Like how do you map? Like we assign them an ID or like a zone number, and then it's like, oh, you're jumping around, like you're going non-linearly through the stages, right? So you could go to stage 8 randomly or stage 3, and then we just have to like restitch it to be like, oh, this is like in order your stages that you entered. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird thing to think about. We could probably do it now that I think about it more. But anyway, it's gonna require a bit of like more thought process into it, but something like that, is that something, I don't know, like I guess I'll reach out to chat here. Is that something that you would want to do, like a randomized ordered stage map? If we supported it, would that be something that like mappers and players would want to grind? It's an interesting challenge. It's the same map, so you can play it through. Like you could probably like in the map or something have a toggle to turn on and off the randomization so you can practice the stages. Or I mean, if we set the stage numbers to be consistent, you could just teleport to the stage. I would not really. We got 50-50 split. All right, that's fair. That's how I feel about it too. It's like it wouldn't be that hard to support, but it'd be a pain in the ass. But once it's in, it's like it's in. I just hope it doesn't cause any spaghetti with our code, because it's like we traditionally expect you to go in a linear order. Unranked section, yeah. I mean, we could also just do no stages on the map and then support it. Yeah, like it's like you have a start and an end, get to the end, and it's like you just got to do these randomized stages. I don't know.
I feel like something that might be more interesting is kind of like what we want to do with like playlists and like gauntlets type of thing.
Yes.
Like we could like randomize the order of the maps.
Yes.
Kind of like I don't know. Well, I don't know if you played the Neon White, but they have like the hell rushes.
Yeah.
Well, and you can like basically like choose whether you want to do like the game in order or if you want to randomize the order of the maps you play.
Gotcha.
So something like that could be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, like playlists and stuff like that, like shuffling playlists, that'll definitely be supported. Gauntlets might be a little more static because like like usually gauntlets are going to be like easy, medium, hard, or like I don't know, or just all hard maps. But usually it's consistent because you know what's coming up. Like if you have time saves and stuff coming up, like yeah, I don't know. It's just like when it's a randomized order, it's harder to compare. It just adds layers, and like you have to either have the UI do it or people have to manually do it, and then that turns into a clusterfuck. But absolutely, yeah, playlists and gauntlet stuff will be interesting. Shuffling playlists will be good though. It's like, oh yeah, you could add all of the new maps that just came out in the map drop, or and then just add that to a playlist and then just shuffle through them.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah. So hopefully that answers that. NotEagle. Yeah, procedurally completely random generated maps not possible. Just in source, and yeah, not for the leaderboards. Randomizing order of stages might be possible. Needs more exploration. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I feel like can't that be done with collectibles?
Well, yeah, no, it can be done. It's just should it be done, right? Like should randomized order stages be done? Is that going to be an appealing thing for players to compete on, given that they don't like it's an interesting concept because it's like it is a fresh, like you don't know what run you're going to have because you don't know which stage you're going to get. And it'd be really cool if that was like a collab thing, because then you could just you can get randomized stages there, so that not everyone's like failing at like some mapper's stage and getting mad. It's like, oh, they have a chance to get further through the map first. Yeah, anyway, we'll move on. Thank you for this question, NotEagle.
All right, next question is from FadedFrank, and they were wondering, will MünsterDuck have Steam achievements?
Yes. Yep. So this was actually talked about way, way, way long ago. This is like third or something. Third like Q&A. I had details on slides. We're kind of doing, oh man, I should have dug it out because it's actually really well done. Just kind of a recap. We're doing like different categories of things. So there's, I really want to look it up now because it's actually really well done. I would just recommend watching that. Okay, so there's Steam achievements, but they're just kind of like fun tasks to do in the game. Shooting each other right in a lobby, or like things. We'll have a lot of them, but like they'll be kind of just these like, because people can Steam unlock them. They're not really going to tie to anything in game. Like they're just things that you can do and have fun. And if you're going for that 100%, we're never going to have things like, oh, get a top 10 time or what. Like we're never going to tie it in with like that. But there's going to be like play with a momentum dev in your lobby or anyone that has this achievement, like that kind of stuff. Like that's fun, right? Like that's a good time. Steam achievements, perfect for that. There's going to be challenges, which are going to be in the game and progression based, right? So it's like, oh yeah, like beat 50 tier 1 maps or so, things like that, and you get a huge XP and units drop from that, right? Like you get like there's challenges there, and those are like the kind of like permanent like achievement kind of things. And I think we're naming those milestone, right? Like kind of milestone things, because they are like achievements, but they're in the sense of like they're like accomplishments you've done through just playing the game over time. And then there's temporal, so there's like dailies, weeklies, seasonal tasks or events or things like that, where you can assuming that you play every day, which we're gonna hopefully not force you to do. Like all of the dailies are just gonna be like, oh yeah, check out this map, like set a time on this map or something. Like there's just gonna be like playing like offering variety for players that are playing every day. And then there's the weeklies, which are the harder tasks, which are just going to be like, yeah, beat like these 3 tier 3 maps or something like that, where it's like it'll take more time and maybe require a bit of experience to do. And all of the like the dailies and weeklies will be offering just like, well, they'll all be offering XP, but like that's all they offer. And then the seasonal stuff, we can offer things like cosmetics for doing, and that'll be things like if we have a playlist that we release, beating that playlist or something, right? Like doing something like that. Like we'll have like the 3 kind of systems there of like the fun tasks to do just for fun, like Steam achievement, the milestone, you're playing the game and like acting or working towards getting all of these, like beating all of these maps and all these different tiers. And then there's these temporal tasks to offer some freshness all the time, like overtime, sorry, not all technically all the time. So that way, yeah, we have those recurring systems there to kind of promote you to come back and try something new. And then, with regular map drops and stuff, dailies and weeklies will not be a problem to set some goals there. And then the kind of like longer seasonal terms, those are going to be thought out in advance and like planned with the seasons. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun system. That's gonna be like, that's post 1.0, obviously, the like seasonal stuff. But we'll probably have an initial challenge system also with the XP system, right? Because we're adding challenges and stuff. Like you have to get XP somehow, right? So challenges will be or milestones. The challenge and milestone stuff will be part of that. Cool. And then Steam achievements. Those are just. Well, I don't know. We'll probably pick out a couple. Like I don't know how many is too many. Steam actually limits it now because of just the like shit games that are getting on Steam. Achievements. They limit how many achievements you can have now. I don't even think they don't even show up right now for you in pre-release games. I don't know why they did that. I guess it was just
for a lot of games, Steam achievements are fantastic.
Yeah,
they just don't really make that. Like
they'll just be menial tasks.
Like Hades, for instance, has like the perfect. I like going for like 100%.
I'm looking forward to unlocking those. Yeah,
Hades is like has basically you can get them all in about 100 hours.
Holy shit! Okay. Well, momentum's delayed another 100 hours.
Yeah. Isaac has a lot.
Yeah.
Isaac is annoying to get. There's some games like I was trying to play Red Dead Redemption 2 and I would have gone for 100% in all of them. But then there's all the stuff for Red Dead Online. So I could have used Steam Achievement Manager to unlock all those and then get 100%. But like,
yeah,
I'd like our achievements to feel like a meaningful thing to do to get 100% in momentum.
Yeah.
So not too many gimmicks, but like
Right.
at the same time, like we've got so many other things that kind of matter more in our own systems.
Exactly.
And keep in mind that achievements are only ever like a personal mark of like
Right. That you
feeling good about yourself. Anyone,
right.
Valve do not care about people faking Steam achievements. Like anyone can download Steam Achievement Unlocker. It's been out for like a decade.
Yep.
Like I've used it before for like 100% you just cause free. Like there's a few things that are just impossible nowadays. Like there's no way of doing them.
Yeah.
So you have to use Sam if you want to get 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and the achievement hunting days aren't really that prominent anymore. I don't know if people even care about gamer score on like Xbox.
Some of them are nice. Some games,
yeah,
I enjoy going for 100%. So I'd like
yeah.
to have like the 100% on there feel like kind of an achievement.
Yeah.
But like most games have shit that makes it not worth doing. Half-Life 2 is quite fun to do. You can do that.
Oh yeah, Lambda Locator is a great achievement. Those are fun.
Hopping around getting all those. Just Cause 3 is by far the most fun I've had doing 100% achievements. That was really fun.
Yeah. So yeah, like we're gonna be. We already have a doc to collect ideas for achievements, and we've already created like 30. They just don't show up in the playtest right now. I don't know if they will if we add them over to the playtest, but yeah, as Tom was saying about Valve and achievements, they really don't care, and the APIs aren't that great. Like we can add them to the playtest, but like they won't carry over to the main game because it's a separate app ID. And then to like reset, like if people are like cheating or whatever, an achievement, you have to reset everybody's achievement. It's like, yeah, it's ridiculous. Like there's not like the API is really limited, and they really don't care.
You can log in a Steam achievement with just a single API called a Steam. I think. Like you.
Oh, okay.
It's incredibly easy to fake.
Okay.
Steam Achievement Unlocker has been around for so long.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm pretty sure all it does is just call the Steam API saying, "I got this achievement."
Yeah.
And that's it.
So, yeah, so we yeah, we will have them, but they're really just gonna be just fun things to do, like lobbies and like, you know, just like using the game. Like it's just like playing the game, exploring the game, and like you'll get some achievements for doing it. Like we'll have one for like jumping 1,000,000 times, right? Like what? Who fucking cares? Yeah. If you jump, you're gonna, like the game requires you to jump for bunny hop, and like obviously when you start runs and stuff. So I don't know. Like there's
weird like event listeners and stuff. Do we have like just for achievements getting that? Stuff?
I might have a branch on Red. I forget if it might be on the public GitHub even for the achievements of just like gutting out the existing stuff because it was gross. Yeah, it was really weird. I would
imagine a lot of games when they're trying to implement achievements they do it late on in dev. And
yes.
do a shitload of hacks to do it.
Yeah, you event listen for a lot of stuff.
Right.
That's how it will be. You know, we'll probably be firing.
Relatively cheap, but still like
yeah.
I imagine some games like it must be pretty gross for some of them.
Yeah. But anyway, hopefully that answers that. We will have Steam achievements. They'll be fun. I don't know how many yet. We have 30, or wait, no, do we have 30? We have like 20, I think.
We have a few. Yeah,
we have quite a couple right now, but we want to get it probably to a decent amount to where we don't need to add anymore, because that's also a dick move that we could do, is just like push another achievement out.
Well,
right?
I do feel that like when it comes to like getting 1 point, there'll be more for the campaign anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah,
like,
that's true.
Campaign, like we shouldn't really care that much about achievements, like
yeah. Like, we'll add like the multiplayer ones, I guess, first, and then we'll update them again with the hopefully it doesn't wipe anything.
1.0 is gonna be, I don't know, like there's going to be so many other things that we prioritize over Steam achievements when we start pushing to get 1.0 out.
Yeah.
So I kind of doubt they'll matter that much.
Yeah.
I'd much rather care about like rank milestones and trophies and grouping and cosmetics and stuff that like actually feels more tangible and like you actually earn something, as opposed to like making sure that like the 1,000,000 jump feature works or whatever. Oh yeah, let's write some unit test for the fucking unit test that. I don't know what
host timescale.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Host timescale 1,000,000.
200. Yeah. Just run it through verification. Run it through Rio's verifier. Yeah. Anyway,
that's a good show.
Yeah. thank you for this question, Faded. We'll move on to the next.
All right. ZM asks, does MomentumMod plan on launching with Hammer++ as its default version of Hammer? And is this even allowed by Valve?
We're open to it. We're making a lot of improvements to our Hammer as is. We're definitely open to it though. So we'll just have to see like what the situation is around Hammer++. Yeah, I don't know. Like it's really just kind of a giant question mark right now for us around Hammer++. So we'll just have to figure it out. But I'm open to it. Is it allowed by Valve? We could. Yeah, like I mean, like as long as we're not fucking like embedding viruses in our things that we're distributing on Steam, I'm sure Valve doesn't mind having a better mapping tool, right? Or like side by side or anything. We'll have to figure it out. But
Flygall is legitimately licensed, so which is a nice thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, is he working on
MCV, military
conflict license.
I worked with him on that game for a bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did some. Yeah, they have Pano, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I did that kind of work.
So we'll see. We're definitely in touch with Flygall, so like we can reach out and talk, but we'll see. So giant question mark right now. That's all I can really say. It's just giant question mark. But but yeah, is it allowed by Valve? It should be because it's.
Well, we take in terms of licensing stuff and crossovers between different games and stuff. I think tooling is something we can be a bit more confident in.
Yes.
Momentum and we try quite seriously to make sure that like all the Momentum devs are actually doing Momentum work and stuff like that. And Flygall said publicly like he's got like fixes into TF2 and stuff, right? And there's some crossover between different licensed devs and like how they contribute to different games and stuff.
Exactly.
I don't think Valve care that much. Our main
no, they allow it. That's how chaos exists. Yeah, they allow it. They allow licensees to work together on the same licensed code, right?
But our main stance is just to not let everything become like incredibly muddy with like a bunch of different random projects or whatever that like have like questionable licensing stuff or whatever. With Momentum at least, like we're in this nice situation where we can like really account for all of our devs, and that's really nice.
Yeah. But it's something we'll figure it out. But we're not opposed and
work on mapping stuff. More word on mapping stuff closer to 010.
010, yes, that's perfectly put. Like, we'll have way more information about like mapping because that 010 is going to be a huge mapper like update.
And it is something in terms of Hammer stuff. It's not something that we're forgetting about. It's something we're thinking about quite a lot.
Yeah,
I think there's some stuff we don't want to reveal quite yet.
We have
to be a bit discreet about stuff, but ultimately, like I think people will be happy with the way stuff it will end up.
I think so too. Yeah, but we got QT to figure out first. We're wrangling QT right now. So
really, the QT company, one of the best, most open source friendly, organizations.
God damn. But so.
Company, fuck 'em. Sorry.
Thank you, Zium, for this question. Hopefully that helps. I know it's a giant question mark, but just stay tuned. 010 will have a lot more like Hammer stuff and like we have a lot of great stuff planned. So hopefully by then it'll be answered or something. So moving on to EBUN.
EBUN is asking, do you have any idea which direction you are going with KZ or Climb?
I believe the question was also is KZ Climb planned for pre 1.0 or something? It might have had that too. KZ/Climb is planned for post 1.0. It is not a pre 1.0 unless we get dev effort for it. It's mainly just because of all the intricacies around how KZ kind of works with like the jump stats and stuff. So we got to figure out how best to collect all of that. It's just not the highest priority, but it can be added later, and we also need to have things between 1.0 and 2.0.
And there's technical stuff that's required for KZ that's slightly different from other modes, like stuff like jump stats and the TP system and whatnot.
Yes, having save states.
There is also the one thing that kind of is slowing it down is the fact that we don't have a super clear idea of which direction we are going for it. I think it's quite good that we say that we kind of
Yes.
in a position where, I mean, KZ is difficult, right? Because you have, you know, like 1.6 source and Go KZ,
Yes.
and I don't know too much about KZ, so I'm not going to get super specific. I don't know that much. Like, but there's a lot of different mechanical stuff between each mode. Our idea has been to try and sort of take the best of all of them, but how much that's going to make different people happy is really hard to judge, and how we do it is just it's a difficult balancing act that I think is going to require a lot of attention from our devs and just like a lot of
community.
communication with different
Yeah.
KZ players. Right now, I mean, that takes time. Like, and we do actually need to sit down and really get input from people, and that's not something that we have that much time to do right now.
Yeah.
We don't have that many KZs on the team, actually.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, it does require just a ton of liaising with different people.
Yes.
It's just tricky.
That's why it's
so-
scheduled post 1.0. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I believe the couple of directions that we've been pointed to is SKZ, simple KZ, I believe is the full name, is kind of a good base to start with. So we're probably going to start with that, and then start to add elements in like double ducking from 1.6. I think there was another thing there. I already forgot the term. I apologize. But there are like the best direction we can take, given that, was it global KZ or Go KZ rather, that exists, right? And kind of offers the platform that we would technically be offering as well. Sort of already. We can't, like, we're not going to try to compete with that because we want to have an experience that I guess is new and unique. That was something that was brought up too. Like, starting with SKZ is a good base, but we need to like build off of it to kind of make our own version of KZ. And I know that will probably upset a lot of people, but the thing about that is, like, we're taking feedback as we develop it. Like, we want to make a KZ mode that's kind of fresh in a way, has like fresh like elements in it, but isn't so like far gone that it's not even KZ anymore, right? Like, we want to be based, rooted in KZ, starting with like simple KZ and then building onto it, and then just taking in that feedback of people, hopefully with open minds and not just wanting Go KZ but in momentum, right, or anything like that, right? Like, we want to have a unique mode there because it's realistically the only way we're going to have KZ.
I think it's going to be quite a lot of effort. Is like actually keeping people in the same, keeping people on board with what we're doing. Like, we need to keep like, and not feeling like we're just doing random shit and not really understanding what we're
exactly.
doing.
We do need to integrate more with the
We
community.
need
there.
to really learn a lot from just different KZ players, and
Yep.
I'm sure there's loads of people that can give us input. But like right now, if we're to comment, like, I mean, Nick's being like deliberately not sort of super specific about different stuff, because I don't think either of us. I think you know more than me, Nick, but like I don't think either of us know that much. Traz actually might know that much. I think Traz actually does.
I know there's a pro mode and a non-pro mode, and I use the non-pro mode. Teleports are good.
We're not in a position to make like actually like particularly informed comments on this stuff.
Yes.
And we will get to that point ideally. By just listening to a lot of other people, and hopefully,
Yes.
I mean, we'll definitely play it as well.
Yeah. I'm done.
It's just actually like getting a good strategy here. It's going to take just a bunch of time that we don't currently have.
Yeah.
And yeah,
So that's why
the same classes is fucked up.
I'm getting new ones soon. Don't worry. I went to the eye doctor. I'm getting new ones soon.
Wow.
A yearly exam. But anyway, sorry, what were you asking, Trez?
No, I was just saying like, oh, do we have the same glasses?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. No, yeah, I think these are actually probably 2 years old. Anyway, but yeah, I am looking forward to implementing KZ. It's not being pushed back because it's not loved or anything. It's just there's a lot of effort behind it that just we need a lot of people on the dev team to be able to really really tackle it and understand all the systems.
But it also, it takes like Nick and other people on the team being really focused on actually learning the specifics of KZ, which takes time. So realistically, doing that requires pushing the rest of the game back. So I mean, if you see from the like chart we had before, right, of like some modes we're working on because it's not really going to lay the rest of the game, like defrag, for instance, we most have Lumia.
Yeah, we got Lumia, NDA, who only works on it.
Brought on Ping because from defrag, and now
yes,
like dev who does useful work on other stuff as well.
Exactly.
But with something like Climb, like it would be time off a bunch of devs that could be doing other stuff. So it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, right now, which is like just timing wise, it would be really good. Basically, right after we drop 1.0, we can collect, because I'm hoping, right, the buzz around 1.0 brings a lot of people in to either join the team, help out with the team deciding what to do with parkour and KZ, and because the road mapping, right, that we do past that, it really depends on how well 1.0 gets received, right? Because if it's if we need to focus on more modes, or do we need to focus on just adding more maps, or like for now and like get the modes kind of figured out in the background, like we'll see. Limited team members, but
more people giving comments on what they want from KZ.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful, and we'll have to get an actual probably forum set up.
That will be tricky, or some very long Discord threads.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out how we're gonna get the actual communication around KZ set up, and then go from there. But it is absolutely planned, and it'll be a more unique, more fresh experience, similar to SKZ as a base, and then building off of that, having some elements maybe from 1.6 that a lot of people would love to see return. And then that way we have a unique mode with the maps that they could apply to, as well as potentially getting KZ mappers interested in working on maps for the game. There are a ton of KZ maps. KZ is also, I'll note, is a very wide umbrella of a mode. It has like sub modes too. There's like KZ B-hop maps that are like basically B-hop maps, but in KZ settings or something. Like there's weird like intricacies around KZ like that we want to kind of properly support, but also like how, because like we have surf already, so it's like KZ surf is just like surf but modified settings. So it's like, what does that translate to? So like realistically, we'll probably focus specifically on more climb specific maps first, just to get that kind of like that feeling good, and like it's a unique experience for our players to enjoy, rather than, oh, this is just a surf map but hard. I don't have any air accelerate or something, right? Like that kind of stuff. There's things like that we got to figure out. I'm speaking with very, very minimal knowledge about KZ, and I don't mean any offense or anything towards KZ players or servers or anything like that. So we're very interested in supporting it. So hopefully this answers this question. It is really up in the air right now, but it is going to be supported, and we're most likely going to use Simple KZ as a base for our implementation, and then build off of it. So thank you, EBUN, for that question. We'll move on to the next one. Our last one, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's from FPS God. They're wondering, can there be an option for mom restart stage to treat a linear map as a map with just a single stage?
Yeah, this is an issue that's tracked, and we absolutely want to do it because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
I actually have the code open in C-Line right now. Maybe I'll do it. Yeah, it's a bad design decision. I'm not sure quite why it was made. I think it was sort of just different confusion between different modes and not knowing quite what was intended for what. But 100%, yeah, if you're on a linear, you shouldn't need multiple binds or to rebind. It's silly.
Yeah. There was
that like KSF and like surf servers I played on is completely sound.
Yeah, there was the idea floating around to make it just be like, if you're in a stage start and you hit mom restart, specifically mom restart or whatever command that would be the like usually the one that resets back, then it goes back to start, like the actual start of the map. And then obviously with safeguards around it so that you don't accidentally do that.
A bit weird and over complex. I think.
But yeah,
you have one bind for restarting stage, one for restarting the whole map, and like if you're playing linears all the time, you're just going to be using the one bind. You also have the stage restart one, which is I think what like Resurfed and KSF servers I played on used. They're all separate like source mod commands they have, right? I think that
we'll make it better. We'll make it better. It's
the issue's been sitting there for a while. It's scheduled for 010.
Because it's related to zones. Yeah, that's why I put it there. But it could be done before.
But this is one of the things that kind of could be done whenever it's when a dev picks it up. But honestly, I'm kind of tempted to look at it because it's the code is really, really easy. So I might do it. But yeah, this is a really good question. Okay, we do have some other question in Q&A.
Yeah, we can go through those. Yep.
Okay, some of these are really good actually. Shall I just read them out, or XP? Do you want them?
Is it all of the ones under FPS God?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the tick there.
All right.
We'll just do these 4. Let's not do any ones past that, I guess, if we want to try and go to 3.
Yeah, because we have some stuff to show off, and we're 2 hours in. Yeah, 2 hours 25. Yeah, we have time. So let's do these questions and then show off some cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to
Alright.
do a question.
We got one from Jamie10OP asking, will playtesters get a special tag once the game fully comes out?
We could do a cosmetic.
So many people in playtest. But
Yeah, there's like, we have 16,000 people in playtest. So it's like,
we'll probably have like 30k accounts in playtest by release at this rate.
well, what we could do though is like people with access to it playing it like a week before we drop or something could get something like that way. It's like the people that did alts or whatever the fuck, like those those accounts don't get it or something.
There's stuff for like external
don't
QA that
know.
would be nice. There is
Yes.
still the fact that a lot of people that have external QA never did anything.
Yeah.
Other than we did playtest.
Yeah.
I mean, some people were great, but I mean that
I-
was a big key drop that we did in like 2018, 19 or whatever, right? That like a lot of people got those keys and then disappeared.
Yeah, I think I was working on badges that we want
Yeah.
to spam profiles.
Yeah.
And I think we do have like a beta or like alpha,
Yeah.
whatever, like supportive badge that I was working on. So
We could do that.
maybe something we could do is instead of just granting it to everyone that's, like had the game on their account, maybe like have like a hidden set of like requirements, like, oh, have played this much, like completed like a few maps.
Not hidden. Yeah.
Or, just
Well,
to
that would
to-
honestly just be a big like SQL query we could do to find them all.
Yeah, no, what we could, yeah, that's
just
what
so that we don't like reward like people that just like got the game but didn't play it, but just like like show like, okay, I was actually here and like doing stuff like
playing,
before.
setting times.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually enjoying the
The way
game.
we do that would literally just be querying the DB. We'd
Yeah.
just do something. We'll just grab a bunch of Steam IDs, do a join on stuff that has
Yeah.
like recent runs and whatnot. That could work
Yeah,
fine.
Just the runs, yeah, before we wipe the DB, because that's
Yeah, the people that
yeah.
1.011, right? So it'd be between 0.11 and 1.0 probably.
Well, no, we're wiping 0.10 because those zones are stored in the DB. But what we can do is calculate if we figure out those quality or qualifications, we can just start to mark down the like.
But the
players.
last one before release is probably going to be the 0.11 one, maybe one at low 13, but
Yeah.
you can just grab the ones from the DB, the post 0.11, and just grab accounts, or just grab the Steam IDs of users that have played and done runs in the last like month. And then
Yeah.
we just extract just a array of Steam IDs.
Yeah, we'll figure out the qualifications, but it'll probably be something like you've played quite a bit, because it's like
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, but ultimately it's still just a query. Like it's easy.
And then obviously people that have submitted issues and stuff, we can trek through the feedback channel and just like try to find people there. And then our external QA, we could have like a little ping or a little private channel for them and ping that, and then just have a reaction roll on that so that people are still around. Could get it. We'll have ways to just filter out the people that have like gotten access, gotten a key, and then dropped, right? Like we don't want to reward those people because they did fucking nothing, right? Like we want to reward people that have gotten access to the game, maybe reported a bug via our feedback channel or just like through GitHub, which is, please do that if you can. Like GitHub is our like main tracker. That's how we work on stuff or know what to work on. So and then automatically through the database and stuff, we could look at like, are people doing relatively a lot of runs or like qualifiers, but just like people that have done like enough activity in the game to like warrant, okay, you were here for this. So, oh yeah, that's right. We were going to also have a cosmetic for people that submit like was it like the bug bounty kind of thing of like people finding like breakage in our like NEG or whatever, like things like that. We were gonna have a dedicated cosmetic for that, because that's all we can really do. We don't really have a budget. We can't do a hacker one. But like things like that where it's like submitted like confidentially and like steps to reproduce it and stuff like that. Like like that kind of stuff we really want to reward. So we could do things like we could do like a cosmetic maybe for things like bug submitters and stuff, like a little like I don't know. Bug conc that you can squash. No, bug bait conc.
We are doing the bug bait
real. Yeah, bug bait conc real for the bug bug smitters. Anyway, we'll figure it out. But we'll have like we'll have some specific badge, and then we just want to make sure we're filtering out the people that have literally done nothing. Like they got access, barely played, like gave us no feedback. Like why should they get anything? Like they clicked a button basically. That's like amazing. But like people that have interacted with the stream, like we could try to do Twitch drops for things too. Like we've been interested in doing that for keys even for the stream. So like there's ways that we can go about kind of granting things to players and like just people that are hanging out and like enjoying it. I know there are lurkers too that are enjoying the game and like maybe don't know the best way to communicate like a fix or anything like that, and that's fine too. We definitely understand. We feel you guys, don't worry. But there's there's just like, that's why the activity should scoop all of that up, and then the direct activity that people have done should be able to reward people that are taking the extra step to help us out. So again, like we want to do it, but we have to do it right, because otherwise it just gets devalued if literally everyone that clicked sign in to play or play test gets it. So we'll figure out a good way to filter.
Yeah. And contributor stuff that's actually submitted stuff to the game.
Yes.
The website, panel, all that. We'll be going through and getting all those people, and you'll be in the UI. The spreadsheet is mostly prepared already. We just actually need to add people. So if you've seen the in-game credits UI, I'm really proud of that UI. I really like that UI. There's a section for contributors that's just not filled in yet, but we will do that for 1.0. And we really, people that have done like significant open source contributions and stuff that aren't on the team still, we want to like really give you a shout out. So
absolutely.
I'm not quite sure what info we'll do, but we might let you put your own bio. We'll see. The bio system for the team I really like, because we let team members say like what they worked on, what they're most proud of. My bio is fucking stupid, but
we're getting there. But yeah, so all right.
Yeah. So next question is from MünsterDuck. They're asking if we will have a MomentumMod music /OST, and they said they can help with that as a fan.
Yes.
They also have a Herbie Hancock profile picture, so like, we have to hire them.
Yes, we will. We will. The campaign is going to have a fully fledged custom OST. We have Monolith, Happy. We have a couple other people that have joined, but Monolith, Happy, I believe Burrito's also helping out. We plan to ship it with the game, and then also make it like the deal that I want to cut with the musicians is being able to put it on like Bandcamp and stuff and let them monetize it and make money directly and split that, and then give us like a permission legal document that lets us use it in the game, so that like that way we like they can reap the rewards of their effort directly, and then we can have it in the game for people to enjoy.
It's good. It's really important to give some people like actual ownership of their stuff. Shout out to
Marty Stratton. I don't want to be a Marty Stratton here, so definitely want to get like, first of all, legal, like not really like actual legal, like where we're like lawyering up against each other or anything. Like we want to make sure that it's at least documented. It's like, hey, like they give permission to us to all, exclusive rights to distribute and like use it in the game. And then there's like our permission for them to sell it because it's MomentumMod OST. It's technically our branding, but like it's completely fine. That is like completely under that. As for helping out, right now we can't, like, we don't want to, like, it's really hard with sound because we need more sound effects and like gun sounds and stuff like that, like UI sounds. Like we need more of that right now than OST. OST maybe for like learn section might be the first like bit of music that we add. It's just some like nice calming background music for people to learn. Or maybe menu music. Menu music's a hit or miss because if people have it too loud, they get ear raped. So we don't want that. But we'll
that's really nice. We should definitely do that.
What was that?
Doing OST stuff for Learn, a soundtrack for
PlayStation.
Really nice. That's actually a really good shout.
Yeah, no, that's I thought we had it planned. I thought
Okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it just needed to be. I think that's not in the document, but yeah, it's OST for learn, just so that people aren't frustrated and not hearing anything. And then it is because it's gonna probably tie in with the campaign a bit, so we'll see. Like, it should have some OST. But that might be the first bit, and then we're not gonna need too many tracks for that. Like, it's probably going to be a cycle of like 4 that just randomly play, right, like on the stages, because they're little nuggets of gameplay, like the learn section, little nuggets of gameplay that you can learn and explore, like the mechanics of each mode. So you're not really going to be on the map for longer than hopefully 6 minutes at a time. I mean, you can spend as long as you need, right, if you want to listen to all the chill beats we'll have, but we plan to have, rather. But like it in general, right, people are learning or practicing on it and not spending that long on it, and it's just really meant to be a background track. But the campaign, right, it'll be built into like story beats and just different worlds and stuff. We got a lot of great stuff planned for the campaign. I'm really excited to work on that after 1.0.
That's a good question on that. Coming up soon.
Oh, okay, cool.
In fact, we just have the Illusion question first, because that directly ties into campaign stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, so Illusion is asking for updates on campaign progress. Is it still a thing? And they only remember mentions of it from back in Momentum's infancy.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's basically shelved right now because, first of all, the amount of effort behind the campaign requires it's basically its own team, like its own team of a lead, lead writers, there's so much effort behind it, and that's why it kind of fizzled down, is because that's not really what the entire team should be focusing on right now. We got to get 1.0 out. Like 1.0 is our clear-cut focus. Like let's get the game out, get it in the public, namespace of like everyone aware of it, and then work on like basically hard swap over to like the team now is focused on campaign, maybe the other modes a little bit, but like figuring out the roadmap there. But like campaign is 1.0 to 2.0 is like how we.
I mean, something like early on with Momentum campaign, I wasn't even involved there, but early on, there was like mappers got told, go make some campaign maps or whatever, and some stuff got made, but it wasn't coherent, and it's not something.
Yes, it wasn't focused.
Game campaign requires just a ton of management and just like perspective and just clear thinking, and that requires just a lot of time from a lot of different people, and it's really really difficult.
I think what sucked the most from that era was that it was like not coherent, but it was also all finished. So you just get these massive just groups of maps that no one was using, and they were all fully detailed.
Yeah, there were some stages that it was varying in detail.
Actually, a game like Momentum is a big step. It's a lot of learning like that goes into it in terms of just how to do good production, how to do good management, and like Nick's in a spot I've really liked having Nick as a project lead. I don't know, he probably was less experienced in like 2018 or whatever, and like there's just it's quite easy to like set yourself some sort of slightly unrealistic goals. Now I think we're at a point where we've had more time on this. People are a bit older, I don't know, just better, more grounded, and the sort of reality of what it takes to really do campaign is like a lot clearer.
It reminds me of the question about the AAA. If we had a AAA development team, or I guess the buyout or whatever, right? If we had that team, the campaign could be another one, right? The tooling for one, because tooling is just like, if we get really good tooling, like, oh my god. But then campaign would probably be like having like an actual like lead to talk to about like, or like lead.
Concept art. Fuck me.
Concept art, writers, right? Like that could take ideas. No, sorry, I meant in the sense of like they've written and like ships.
The last thing you've written was JavaScript.
The last story. No, but it's not that we don't want to do it, but at the same time the campaign is something unique that servers can't do. So it's like if we wanted to position ourselves like that, to where it's like we're offering a completely unique like platform, right? Capitalizing on the campaign. My thought back then was it could be done in parallel, but it just requires a lot of attention, and it's just a lot of that attention draws away from the core things that the game needs right now. And so I just yeah, again, I have been learning a lot through running this project, through, you know, leading development and effort and things like that. So I'm not perfect. I'll say that, yeah, that campaign was not well managed by me, and I want it to be properly managed, and the best time to do it's going to be after 1.0, probably really soon after 1.0. I want to start to, because I'm hoping the hype and buzz around the game draws people back or into the team to work on it. I'm hoping that
people, yeah, to get on the team, for sure.
Because once we get it going, right, like realistically, once we have the story written and finalized, and then we have like the team of mappers and the actual game modes that we want the campaigns for, then it's really just a matter of making it. Like, it's forehead, right? But like, it's just a matter of like actually like sitting down, like getting the maps iterated on, having the art team come in, do an initial like detailing pass, working with the mappers, getting that iterated on, then playtesting it, right? Not spoiling too much, having the story team come in and then implement like working with some mappers to not help prevent leaks of the story and story beats and stuff like that. Because that's the other thing, right? Like, we don't want it, like, if the entire story gets spoiled before it's even out, it's like that's a huge blow. So we gotta be careful, but it's very much a desired like 2.0 like thing. That's what we want 2.0 to have. And I was thinking back then, parallelizing it to where that team could just start to iterate on it. We could get it done even sooner. And yeah, we were getting maps in, but we weren't getting there wasn't enough leadership around, okay, like coherency around like the like overall goal of the campaign, and then getting it like implemented, because it also needed like game features. And then like, it's like, okay, I'm working on the replay system, let me jump off of that and work on an entity. It's like we can't manage that with the dev team. But we're, you know, it was also back when it was open source, so we could have probably opened, you know, some cards for that. I don't know.
Management is incredibly difficult. It would have taken just so much initiative from so many different people to keep the two different things rolling. I got first involved like as on the team to do writing stuff. I don't know if I wasn't brought on a team immediately, but I was interested in doing writing stuff. And, like, I've had several meetings with Nick and Zofa just talking about
ideas,
about writing stuff. You know, we got some decent ideas there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.
I want to get Momentum 1.0 out.
Yes.
I've been learning a lot of programming, doing Momentum. I mean, I have some experience before, but honestly, like most of my programming ability comes from learning stuff I've done on Momentum now. Like, I mean, I have a fucking philosophy degree. Like, I come from a humanities background. I'm much more inclined to doing like writing than programming. But like, I don't know. The reality is, the stuff we want to focus on now is getting 1.0 out, and that's what people want. And we're not going to go on some wild goose chase, putting loads of time into campaign. And realistically, if it ends up being that like Gok was spending like loads of, I keep calling you either Gok or Nick, and it's probably confusing. They're the same person. You know, you wouldn't be able to multitask between those two different things. I mean, it's just completely unfeasible. Like,
it's a different mindset for sure.
A bunch of code review, and then I've got to do like campaign, like leadership stuff. Nah.
But eventually, it'll get to the point where I'm hands off, right? Like, where I don't have to do too much, because it's really just a matter of verifying that the process that we set up and agreed upon as a team works, right? Like, and yeah, it's fun. It's very fun, like leadership stuff, but it does require other leads below me, because I'm not skilled in art, I'm not skilled in Hammer, right? Like, I can't Elon Musk this shit up where I'm gonna like, be like, yeah, all right, no, come in on Saturdays and work on even though we have our meetings on Saturdays anyway, like yeah, there's they literally come in on Saturdays, so yeah, like there's a delicate like way to approach it that I want to employ after 1.0, where the capacity is there for me to be able to really focus on it, get it set up, and then still help out with development, getting these new features in, like kind of being able to jump around, because that's, as a lead, I need to do that. But and it's not like annoying to the point where it's like all my time is only spent on something like that. So I think that scheduling it 1.0 to 2.0, kind of that is our like best bet in terms of it actually forming and coming together there. The story, we have a story beat, so like the story is not too bad. We have a rough setting, we have the rough ideas around the worlds, right? Not spoiling too much, but yeah, we do plan to have the idealistic like momentum campaign is a tutorial section that leads into a hub, and then it's a hub world of 5 worlds, and then the 5 worlds have unique themes. So it's very like
old school. It's
old school Monkey Ball-esque, but it's building up to yeah, something pretty cool. And like the idea behind the worlds is that each world has around up to, I guess, the number is floating, but 10 stages. And then there's a final stage. And the idea is that each of the stages that you do unlocks ramps and like platforms and boosters and stuff in the final stage, like the POW block or whatever, in Super Mario or something. So the idea is that, yeah, you would just go and do these stages and they get like a little more hard, but like depending on how many of those stages you do, that final stage gets easier and easier and easier. And that's like if you do all 10 stages, it's like it's even easier than that, probably that 10th stage or something, right? So like there's like the bit there around how we wanted it to like kind of flow like that, so that way you can choose, right? Like the routing, right, of a speedrun of the campaign is you choose which stages you want to do, and if you do less, you get a potentially harder but faster route through that final stage. So there's a lot of really interesting ideas like that I really, really want to see put together and see how it executes, and like if it goes well, because I think that's going to offer just something that's fresh in terms of like it's not literally just like, yeah, you start and like you're just doing a stage loading screen stage. Like we're going back to a hub world, we can build on the hub world, have secrets in the hub world. There's or the hub, sorry, the hub.
One thing
like,
I just
area
did want to
map.
mention that makes me really happy about campaign is we have some nice ideas about how to actually integrate story in a way that is
Yes.
not annoying cutscenes and not like GLaDOS talking at you all the time.
Yes. Yep.
Which is going to be great.
I love GLaDOS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get Ellen McLean. We'll reach out to Valve and get Ellen. No. Yeah, like there's
honestly, if we were to get a bunch of money from Microsoft, or whatever, to make them, I would love to actually spend all my time thinking about the momentum campaign.
Get the TF2 voice actors involved too. That'd be fun. Anyway, for the jump campaigns. Anyway, yeah. So there's a lot of great stuff coming. It's just, and those ideas I feel like are going to be really nice, really fresh, and I think a lot of people will enjoy them. It's just right now we got to get to 1.0, and then we'll jump back into it, clear and focused and actual goal oriented as a better leader that I've learned over the years. Hopefully, right? So yeah. That's just why it's kind of like died down. Again, like the stages are going to be great inspiration. We could probably iterate on them. We still have those BSPs, but it's been a while. So, and we have some exciting stuff that we're going to show off after this last question. Thank you so much, Illusion, for asking about the campaign. Is very much still in progress, shelved right now, but will be picked up after 1.0. And absolutely everybody that was on the team and stuff that would like to come back by then are absolutely welcome to come back. Like we never closed any doors or anything. It's literally just we just focused on getting to 1.0 now. And it's just that's all that happened with the team.
Yeah, I think a lot of mappers and stuff that got involved early on like probably just didn't get, didn't have that much to do ultimately.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So last question, I guess from Kodalim.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! 1 second.
If MMod is a single-player focused game, would a momentum fight be a possibility in the very long run?
No. It's just the way our multiplayer works. We can't support doing lobbies and traditional multiplayer in the same kind of like sphere. So yeah, all combat, and again, like the sandbox-esque around momentum is still just like movement speedrunning of like single player variety, because again, once you don't have people to play with, that stuff dies. So us focusing on Trikz, combat surf, like all of this extra like rocket jumps, but the rockets actually hurt other players, like that kind of stuff, like that just it takes dev time and upkeep, and then like if nobody plays it, it's like it's the least played mode or something, right? Or something like that. So it's just not in the vision of the project. Could be a fun spin-off project, maybe to take Momentum's movement and then build it as a multiplayer game or something like that, and just, you know, call it combat mod. Anyway, I don't know. But the thing for Momentum is just like, we're really focusing on that single player movement speedrunning experience. Just because that platform doesn't really exist. You can go and play Combat Surf on CSGO. You can go and play Trikz, I think, in a server. I don't know. Anyway, but there's ways to play those multiplayer modes already, and I know there's ways to play already, like Surf and Bunny Hop and stuff. But like, again, the focus of Momentum is making that like standalone single player platform that you can just, like, you can't play, again, with servers, right? You can't play any map at any time. Somebody has to host that server, right? You can't play with whoever you want. You have to matchmake. And how the fuck is matchmaking gonna work? Like, how do you play Trikz competitively? How do the leaderboards for that work? Like,
it's so hard.
Do we use your PB with the fastest player? But like, what, like, is that their anyway?
We also do have, this is a question that's common enough that we actually have an auto. We have our bot has a command that the response that I wrote a while ago, which is in general Momentum on Discord if anyone wants, which includes a link to the long answer we gave to
yes, yeah,
Q&A.
It's come up quite a couple of times.
Yeah. It's a good question, but it does have quite a simple technical answer for why it's not the case.
Yeah. And so just being able to support the massive multiplayer with like no ping, right? Yeah, we can't
do lobbies for no hassle. It's the easiest like decision. Like the trade-off we make, like we lose a bit, but we gain so much.
We're only losing really Combat Surfing Trikz are the biggest, I would say.
I mean, I love Combat Surf is genuinely incredibly fun. Like I used to spend so much time playing like Great River Extreme. Like, fuck me, that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just answer to FPS GOD question will be.
It's tracked. We have a card for that FadedFrank. It's tracked and we'll improve it. Mom restart stage is a weird design choice that we ended up making. We're gonna simplify it. No way. Anyway, is that it? That's it, right?
Yeah, we're good, I think.
Okay, cool.
It's time for gaming.
It's time for gaming.
Yeah, let's boot up.
Okay. Gameplay plus webcams.
We're not gonna play Conc this time. And we're gonna play.
They did little guides.
Me and Nick could be in a lobby, but unfortunately no one else can yet. It will be in soon. This branch will be in soon.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Surely you'll work that out. Much success with the game. Thank you. Yeah, 40,000 people knowing about the game is insane. It is actually insane to think about that. Oh wait, Trez isn't here. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Wow. Got him. All right. Yeah. So here, sorry. Oh, you put a lobby up? Is it friends only?
No, but I mean, other people can't join this map, so it doesn't matter. I guess they can chat. Okay, I'll put it to.
Oh no, yeah, that's fine. I just didn't know if we changed anything else with lobbies. Like we did. Yeah, make this like friends only or something.
Okay, I'm currently loading the map, which is a little bit slow because it's
It's fine. Actually, they won't. Yeah. It might crash. I'm not gonna risk it. Actually, I'm gonna leave this lobby really quick. Yeah. Okay. So the main thing is we changed, like, there's weapon support now. Like ghosts have guns and stuff. So I don't want to mess with the idea of like either them not sending the data and us null pointering or us crashing them. So let's make it a friends only lobby if possible. And then
I have a fun idea. Okay, yeah.
Hey, thank you, Edible, for the raid. Welcome everybody.
Wait, I'm leaving. Have you got a lobby up, or what are we doing?
Okay. You can invite me. You just invite me.
Yeah, I can do friends only or invite only max play account.
Yeah, just do invite only and then just invite me on Steam.
Yeah. There you go.
Cool.
Okay. Let's load into this map and then let's just play this map, I think.
Okay.
That you spawn in. Okay. And then...
Should we preface it?
No. Let's just play it. We'll just play it.
Okay, let me preface the game a bit. We might have some new faces. Glad to see. Welcome, Mythostropic.
We wanted to go for a long time.
Yes. So yeah, I won't spoil what we're about to get into, but I'll talk a bit about the game. So yeah, so for those that are new that haven't seen any gameplay or anything, this is the main menu. But one of the very nice things that we take advantage of with multiplayer is that you can actually host. We're in a private lobby right now because we have to be, because we're on technically we're on developer code right now. You'll see why in just a second. But you can host lobbies. Multiplayer is a layer on top of the game. It is not built into required to join a server to play. You do not have to even join a lobby to play the game. But we're gonna have some fun. So yeah, you can host invite only, friends only, and public lobbies. Public lobbies show up in this list. Friends only obviously also show up in this list, but only if you're friends. And then invite, you have to join. You have to get an invite to join. And then we will also have a kind of this is in the roadmap. We're gonna have a concept called public roaming lobby, which is like if you're not in any lobbies and you join a map and you have it turned on, toggled on, which it will be by default, you will join a public lobby just for that map, as if you joined a server just for that map. So the idea is that like we have that kind of server-esque experience that you can meet new players. We will also down the line, and if you leave that map, you leave that lobby. So like it's only, and it's like it's just roaming, like you're roaming around the maps into different lobbies, meeting different people on the maps. You can chat with them, voice chat if you opt into it, right? That kind of stuff. That's all going to be planned. So we do want to support that social aspect of the game. Right? You don't have to be by yourself in this game. Like that's what I also want to push out, because a lot of people tend to not realize or understand that. Like you can join like public lobbies and stuff. There will be other players in this game that you can interact with. You don't have to, which is also a really nice option if you're just wanting to stream or wanting to, not deal with people potentially spamming things or whatever. You can do that too. Yeah, so the way multiplayer works is you can chat. So in this lobby, right, like I can chat in the main menu. It's just, it's just a layer there. And if you join the same map, the map name's kind of spoiling what we're about to show. If you join the same map, it networks your player to another player. So that's when you can start to spec, is if you're on the same exact like map. And then yeah, we'll have things like being able to like mute individual players, block individual, like we'll have ways around like kind of dealing with people that are spamming. And then you can also like we'll have stuff like joining maps, like being able to open the map selector. I'll talk a bit about the map selector as well. So MomentumMod being a centralized platform, you should be able to play whatever you want whenever you want. So our map selector is built to deal with that.
Lovely.
Oh yeah, this is the 4x3 support. I was wondering why some things look more chonky or like wider, but
it doesn't look great. I might tweak the styling a bit more.
That's all good. Oh, this says maps twice. Is that
we kind of
wait, do I even have?
That's probably a localization thing.
That's just a minor bug. That's just a playlist. But anyway, we don't have playlists yet.
Yeah.
So all of the maps that you could ever want from any of the supported modes are here. Yeah. And you can filter by specific modes. You can, filter by specific tiers if you want. There's a lot of filtering that you can do to find the exact kind of experience that you want. For newer players, we can even do things like soft locking. Some of this, like locking you to tiers 1 through 3 at the beginning, just so that you get the idea, and then you can, as you beat a tier 1, you can beat a tier 2, you can unlock the rest of the tiers, just so that you don't accidentally load into a tier 5 and up map and be like, what the fuck, this game's impossible. Things like that. So like we still have some work to do around the general UI here, but yeah, it's very nice to be able to just kind of one-click download Conc Submerge, and there it goes. I have Conc Submerge, and I can play that. So it's a lot of just kind of like love going into this, because this is your entry into playing the game, right? So yeah. We do have, we'll have a cosmetics thing. Another very important thing is the learn section. So being able to learn, all of these are null. What the hell? Oh, I guess that's also probably it's requesting from the sheet. Anyway, being able to go individually into these specific mechanics and learn them, and then we'll also have progress tracking for that so that you're aware of that. And then we can tag maps with these mechanics, and then you can go and search for maps that have those mechanics, or just in this UI, it'll show you like, here's some easy maps that have, you know, distance b-hop and stuff, like, or things like that, right? So you can go and like try out those maps that have those mechanics and apply it, get a PB. And then we got awesome setting search stuff coming soon, but yeah, settings are in there. Okay, I've talked a lot. We're also, I think, like, okay, we're like at time here, so
Join the map.
yes, I'm joining. Hopefully it doesn't crash.
Just play normally, no clipping for now, okay? And we're gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna lead you through this, okay? I know how to show this off. I think
Okay.
this out. Okay.
So one of the things coming very soon is okay, well, actually, let me preface it by saying we got engine access, which means we have the ability to change everything in the engine. This includes things like, obviously, like updating the panorama, like we can add entities and stuff. We could kind of do that with the SDK build too. But this includes things like networking layer. We can optimize how functions work. So map loading, things like that can be better, faster, right? More efficient. We can add compression. We've already added compression and like BC7 support to like textures and stuff. So we are absolutely just tearing into every aspect of this engine. One of the
Look. What we're gonna do? Let's just play Utopia.
Yeah.
I mean, this is just Surf Utopia here. Right?
Yeah.
So we'll just do a quick run.
Yeah. So
maybe set up a save block every now and then. So
oh yeah, that's true. We'll have this. I need the strings eventually. I'll pull them down.
Yeah. The playlist thing I fixed, by the way.
Oh, nice. It was a bug, or was it just the wrong term?
Yeah.
All good. Yeah, we can get that in for 09 too. Open a. So this was made by Panzer, by the way, who has recently joined the team.
Of course, yeah. Panzer's like is fantastic, and we like to have him on the team regardless of this. But it turns out that he's literally made maybe the most popular surf map there is, and the one of the most classic and best b-hop maps, Arcane.
Man, that glass is invisible. I don't know if that's a mounting issue.
It might be missing the cube map material.
Oh, true. Yeah.
It's a TF2 map.
Okay, cool. So you're here. So now we've beaten Utopia. Let's go do air control.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, air control should be somewhere. Wait, where'd you go? Oh my god. I can't see you. Is it in the top left? Top right?
I went way out. We don't have a TP.
Yeah, it's something like that. Let's see. Yeah, we don't have any zones on this big map. I think it's in the top right.
No, it was literally just like to the left of Utopia. Like, where are you going?
Oh, left of Utopia. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay.
So I can try now. SV no clip speed, yeah, that's a good shout.
Oh, that's a good shout too. Yeah. No clip speed. Let's turn that up to like 20. All right. Oh, that's much faster. There we go. Okay.
Oh.
Air control.
Cool.
Yep. A little bit of that. So, for those that aren't catching on what just happened there, we've raised, well, I say we, SL and Zen in particular, with a lot of testing done by people over in P2C and just internally on the team, we've raised engine limits for BSPs. So just a little bit of a spoiler alert of what's coming in the next changelog. BSP V25, which this is the, I guess, the first like movement version of that, or sorry, the first movement map on that version, I should say. Yeah, I'm also going to top 10. Here we go. Sorry if surfers are cringing at all of this movement right now. But yeah. We've raised pretty much every limit in the BSP file format.
Yeah. So it goes up by a different amount. Most stuff goes up by 4 times. Some goes up by 16 times. So the coolest statistic.
Yeah.
The volume, right, goes up 64 times.
You can now have 64 times the amount of stuff, and not of stuff, just of space in your map.
Next.
And Zen on our team took a couple of maps that you may know and put them all together. And yeah, so let's I'm going Omnific. Let's go Omnific. And so this is what? Oh, that teleport box got messed up.
It's genuinely weird.
Oh wait, no, that's actually just how this map works.
Like I built this like a few hours ago, and it is disorientating. Seeing this. Like
it's
having played Source games for like a decade.
Yeah.
It feels wrong. It feels really wrong.
Yeah, it's weird. To say the least. I suck also. We're on we're in surf.
This is something it might not be completely stable yet. We do need to do more testing, but
yes.
All of this should be stable. Keep in mind we're on 64-bit now, so we can like really optimize and this stuff can perform way better than Source would on 32-bit.
So yeah.
Oh fuck me.
I don't even know. You might recognize the maps. There's people in chat that might recognize the maps. There's like 12 full-fledged surf maps.
Yeah.
In this map, with the new size
these
restraints
are big
and everything.
Maps as well. This is
Omnific, right? Like yeah.
Too.
Yeah, and just for reference, this entire map is around 120 megabytes. So just to give a rough example, with all of these, like I think some of these have custom assets packed. Some of them do, like Omnific and stuff. So that's there. But yeah, so 64-bit on, I'll note about that. 32-bit has a memory limitation. You can only go up to, I think, 2 gigabytes or 4 gigabytes of RAM.
I think
yeah. So 64-bit will allow us to load more and unpack more stuff in memory, which is nice, but we're not going to require you to have that much. Like, I think if hold on, let's go look at RAM usage right now.
I'm not using very much. I'm using 500.
Yeah. So for me, Chaos is using 1 gigabyte. Yeah. Chaos.exe is using 1 gigabyte of RAM for this map.
This renders completely smoothly. Like
yeah, I'm out in the void. It's a little wonky because it's like when you go out into the no clip void, it opens all the viz leaves.
Rendering everything, right? Yeah, yeah.
So like if you didn't have vviz at all, this is how the map would perform. But once you go in and start,
vviz,
with vviz,
fine,
yeah.
Right? I mean,
and then all FPS. Oh wait, no. Was it show CL? Show FPS. Oh yeah, new FPS meter. Let's show that off.
I did
in the top left. All right.
So on Momentum, we have a lot of devs who do a lot of work in the background that don't necessarily get like a ton of attention. We try and give them shout outs on the stream or whatever, but like a lot of these streams are like me, Nick, and a handful of other people. But I want to people like SL right are doing work that is genuinely not very many people in the world could do.
Just floating through the void right now.
Oh well. Yeah. And in terms of just being exceptionally skilled programmers, we are
just bunny hopping on top of
incredibly lucky
overgrowth
to have like SL and people like on the team. Like this is like a refactor like this. Like I don't understand how it works. Like it's loads of really low level engine stuff. Like the fact that we as a a free game.
Oh, there's Kitsune.
yeah. I might start doing Kitsune too.
Yeah, Kitsune too. I'm just falling through the maps right now, just like.
Yeah. Whee. Yeah, it's like the end of Interstellar.
Yeah, this is literally Interstellar.
But in terms of just dev work, getting this done, and the people, I feel like like Slidey doing DX11. Like obviously, like Bray and BLT have done a lot of like the more sort of UI grunt work stuff. I've been doing that as well, but which is also immensely valuable. But I just think like seeing this from SL and Zen, like this is insane. Yeah. This is such a, like a ludicrously like big achievement that I just feel like so incredibly indebted to like the Momentum devs or other devs for this work, because it is just ridiculous that this exists. Like I'm just playing Omnific right now and it feels like regular Omnific.
Yeah.
Lighting's a little worse maybe, but I think it's probably a fast compile.
Yeah, I think it's a fast because like full takes like I think like 14 hours or something, so he wanted to get it done.
Jesus.
Like, yeah.
But
Well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. There's 14 maps in here. So that's what we want to try to speed up, though. Yeah.
CPU.
Yeah, it's all on the CPU. We want to use GPU for as much as we can. So we're going to be looking into like OpenCL or just CUDA acceleration.
I think Source 2 does that, right? For
Yeah.
calculate like lighting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, it takes even longer because they have like so many passes. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and they just don't care because they just chuck it on a server farm.
Yeah, that too.
So
I guess the actual specific limitations, everything's been raised. So not just grid limit here. So like viz leaf counts, like you can have like.
Can I run through them?
Yes. Yeah, you can run through all of the specifics.
Because I went through last night and actually did the proportional stuff. I was just doing a bunch of divisions and stuff. So where's change log? 092 change log. This should be out probably tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, very, very, very soon. Like it's wrapped up.
Okay, so grid size goes up by 4 on each axis, right? Which
yes,
is a
64 times.
64 times the volume. Which is ridiculous. It's gonna be.
Oh, is this Z fighting over here?
Like you can do.
Oh, it's water.
Okay. So model count goes up 16 times. 16 times whenever a model. And if you think about like how we do, or like how a lot of like modern mapping goes, especially like Valve stuff with CS:GO, where you do a lot of stuff in Source 2 and bring it in, or if you're doing like a Blender workflow and bring vertex precision, I want to look into. That's going to be really interesting because that might fucking nuke few models. We'll see. But yeah, 16 times a model. So that's huge. It's bigger than that. It's large. Brushes goes up 8 times. 8 times the brush limit. That's I forget if front details end up still being part of the brush limit, or if I think they are, right? They just don't get looked at by VVs. So yeah, if you're doing like high detailed maps that aren't necessarily really big, but you want to do loads of brush detailing, that's going to be really big.
Yeah.
Brush sides. Is that brush sides?
Brush sides, yeah.
Goes up 8 times. Planes goes up 16 times. Vertexes, we'll say it 16 times. Nodes 16 times. Text infos goes to 0, which I'm not sure about. Text data 4 times. Then faces, HDR, original faces, leaf faces,
I'm giving it
60 times. Areas 64 times.
I can't wait to have
edges.
more areas.
Yeah. These are all like silly little bits of lump data, but the main thing is stuff like grid size 4 times. So on each axis, right, it's going to be, if you're used to what's the normal limit you see, like in Hammer, it's like 16 something, I forget the exact number. 16,364 or something.
Yeah, 65,300. That was another one too. Oh wait, no, or 4092.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I don't make maps. I don't know. I've never seen these ones.
Which means the volume goes up by so fucking much. It's so ridiculous. This is my favorite change we've done since getting engine access.
Yeah.
By far. I love this. It's so stupid that we've been able to do this and get something like this. And no very full.
Yeah.
It's just so many opportunities for map. Like we're looking at like this silly bunch of serve maps all together, but you can literally make maps this size, like this long, and like
So like
enormous.
We're looking forward to seeing mappers do stuff with this. Keep in mind, this new BSP version is chaos specific. It's not going to work in CS:GO, unfortunately. These are the little frag grenades for Omniving.
I mean, this is a very, very significant entry factor. This code touches pretty much everything in the engine.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm scared for KZ maps.
KZ maps will be. KZ is gonna be.
The thing that's gonna really benefit from this, I think, is gonna be what do we call it? AHOP.
Yeah, AHOP requires the.
A lot of the time in AHOP.
Yeah.
You easily hit the limits in AHOP, but like now, Keep in mind, also we have portals, right? Which means if you're in a relatively small room, if you want to do a seamless change like some other part of the map, you can do that with portals. Like you can kind of do it with landmarks, but portals are better.
Yeah.
So like you can make ludicrously big maps. It's just nuts. This. I just can't believe that this is in.
Oh, the final area has like no lighting. Oh God. Okay. Here's the hub. Classic. Yeah, it's insane, and like this is something that just like this is why engine access, going closed source for engine access, like this is why it's worth it, because doing this and now the possibility that literally every mapper, and then improving on Hammer, right, to make it even easier to get into mapping and like working on maps, like this is worth it. This is why we did it. One of the main reasons, right? Other than just being able to fucking fix everything now,
Yeah,
right? Like there's more that we can do.
Full access to the source engine.
Yes, going ham
on
on map limits and stuff. But yeah, so I guess I don't get to keep the trail when I throw my grenade now.
Oh, we need to fix that.
Yeah, that's gonna hold up 092 a little bit. Yeah. So
we should leak the source code. We are never gonna do that.
What?
People that are
to leak? Yeah, no. I don't want to go to prison and or be financially destroyed by Valve. Yeah. So we're not gonna leak anything.
That we trust really well and are really sane, so we don't have to. I don't think we have to worry about that stupid like source code leak stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, Edible. I know you were looking forward to it, but my streams from prison would only go so well. Yeah. So I'm pumped to get this in everybody's, especially mappers' hands. It looks like it works okay. I'm gonna play an existing map and see if things broke. Let's see. So did we get an please actually play Conc redeemed? I know we. Whatever. I'll go to Submerge. I downloaded.
Every stream.
Yeah. Oh no, it loaded fine. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good to merge, man.
Play Conc. When do we get access?
Oh fuck! We actually.
No. So for this, we're aiming to get this branch out soon. Still need some review, but we might actually push this branch. If we're pretty happy with it, we might be the next team push might be this branch. So
yeah,
this is soon.
Yeah,
like this has been in the works for over a year, I think.
Yeah.
Again, this is a really big refactor. Like this is a really big refactor.
Yeah.
But it's finally like actually close to completion. So yeah. What's happened?
Somebody redeem please actually play Conc, so gotta do it. We'll get the other modes in there too.
Oh.
But we can only do one please actually play. I guess we could do a please actually play ... and then the box. And then have one for a map, and then no, we should probably just keep it on mode. But like have the input that you do be the mode that you want to play, or a map for the mode. I mean that's even easier.
Can you have inputs for channel points now?
Sorry, what?
Can you have inputs for channel points now?
Well, there's the like please highlight my message or highlight my message thing.
Oh yeah.
That you put it in and then redeem it, and it like. It's with it, so it'd be like the message and then redeemed please actually play ... and then the like thing. So we can change it to that after the stream.
Keep in mind, Illusion, that this is not backwards compatible. So like if you're aiming for this for Source or Go, like it won't.
Yeah.
It might be of use to some.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Yeah, because it's only going to be a chaos source thing until I guess CS:GO we merge with CS:GO and become one. But yeah,
get into like that. It would have to be,
let's do INAV. INAV's pretty fun.
Source 1 to 64-bit. Which will never happen. A-Hop Reptile. Reptile is a great map.
Unknown message type.
But it's crazy that I'm just like casually playing through Surf Overgrowth right now.
Yeah.
Failing stage 3 constantly. But in this map, like 12 other surf maps. Yeah, especially if anyone wants to do maps specifically for momentum, that's something we will happily add to the game. Like if you're doing a map that goes past like the standard limits, like I think that, would you agree, Nick? Like that's like a viable reason for like us to like we'll manually add that map like pre.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We gotta get the update out first. But yeah, we can.
Yeah. But before 010's out, which we are aiming to do, and then map submission will be a mostly automated process. We'll have some team moderation probably to start at least. But yeah, seeing people like actually do cool stuff with this, like we're really keen to see that for sure.
Yeah, we're I mean, just even like surf classics and stuff now, you can make a classics 3. Right, like with all this shit, like you can have 1 and 2 in it. And then probably like
I think classics 3 exists.
Oh, okay, 4 then.
Classics 4.
Apologies, classics 4 or classics 4 _ momentum.
Classics, what a terrible man. Yeah, this is...
Yeah, the length, the run length limit will also be factored into that like decision now to have larger maps because
God. Yeah.
But it'll be, I mean, we've already answered it. It'll be like a map by map basis basically. Like
yeah.
But by default, you know, most maps don't need like 9 hours or whatever, right? Like we'll kind of be just eyeing it. But if there are huge maps, we can probably raise the limits there. All right, here we go. Triple for the win, and then we'll end it here. Oh wait, I didn't mean to throw 3. Whatever. I need to get less air off that. Dang.
Yeah, again, a massive shout out to SL for this work.
Yes, yeah, SL has led the majority of this work, and Zen's been really helpful testing everything and compiling that map. And there you go. Played some Conc. Oh, nice, and the graph works. Let's go. Oh, that's that's funny. The blinking goes through the UI. I didn't even notice that before.
Really?
Yeah, look at that.
Oh, because it blurs the background.
Yeah, it blurs the background.
Oh.
Yeah.
Though I guess like run finish doesn't need to be a blur. I don't know. But yeah, didn't submit. I'm in development. Like yeah. So, hell yeah. But that's I guess that's where we'll end the stream. Yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of a peek into what's coming. What's coming soon. Yeah, the this is just the first bit, right? Like we still have zoning refactoring to do. Like the BSP limit increase was actually slated for 010, but it just kept going in parallel because SL's a beast. Got it done quicker, and yeah, so it'll be an 092. And then yeah, we'll see how it goes, because there's probably a lot of stuff we're not, because again, we raised every limit, we touched like engine, you know, tooling code, we touched everything, so there's probably bits that we missed, so it won't probably be super smooth and stable in the first couple of updates, but 093, 094, we're gonna iron out everything. So
and all those limits are in the blog post, so you'll see. If for those that want to like know the specifics of it, you'll see all the limit changes in the blog post coming up in the next like 24 hours or so.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, the nitty gritty table of stuff.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's nuts, and we're just like, I'm so happy it's in. I'm so happy it's like working and old maps work. I was worried about like, oh shit, if we start, you know, introducing these new BSP formats. I mean, it does make it a little bit messier because yeah, like it's you know, we have to support now, you know, old, but like with raising limits, right? We just raise like the ceiling. So like all of the old maps just fit into the new, right, raised ceiling of like, and like a lot of stuff was like hard coded constants that we just changed to be like a variable, like array growth, or not array, sorry, vector.
So much cleaner in lots of ways now as well. Like...
Yeah. So yeah, best of both worlds. All of the old, and then all the new, just all the new AHOP maps. I'm scared. We can support like probably all of Half-Life 2 in this. Yeah. So I'm a little worried.
Alex was interested in playing around.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to see some interesting stuff from AHOP mappers.
I gotta reach out to him ballots once this drops. Yeah.
But again, like people that are like wanting to do maps for this and try stuff out, like we'll be very keen to add that to the map selector.
Yeah. So episode 2 map, episode 2 maps are kind of smaller. I don't know. I guess the Strider fight's bigger. Anyway, I need to go. I need to go eat dinner. So we're gonna end stream here. But thank you all so much for watching. Sticking through the Q&A. Hopefully that was a nice little teaser. Hopefully mappers, you guys are excited to dive into this either tonight or tomorrow. I think it's gonna be tomorrow. We just gotta get the BSP limit branch merged in, so get that going. But once that's in, it'll be good. Appreciate all of you. And do we have anyone to raid potentially?
I don't think there's anyone streaming Momentum.
Nobody's streaming Momentum. Unfortunate. There is Caffrey streaming Surf.
That's a good show.
Cool. Yeah, we'll raid Caffrey then. Cool. Thank you all so much.
What's a good raid message for like advertising the limit stuff? Trying to think.
I don't know. I mean, my usual raid message is okay, cool.
No, wait. What if we do what's it called? Thingy full.
Go big or go home. Very full.
Very full. Can we all just spam that?
Like,
maybe it's nonsensical, but we just spam
very full with 3 exclamation marks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's our raid message. Or you could be and then you can add a smile at the end too. Any smile that you want. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching.
Great.
Yeah. We'll catch you all in the next streams that we do. Maybe a dev stream, who knows? But also, join our Discord if you haven't.
We will do. I'm not sure when the timing will be, but we'll do a Christmas background stream.
Yeah, either before or after Christmas, but we'll see the timing. Yeah, before might make more sense. The 20s. Yeah. Anyway, So thank you all for watching and enjoy Caffrey doing some surf, I believe. And yeah, take care.
See you.